Welcome to the Next Dimension Podcast, your portal to an extended reality. Every week we talk about the hottest topics in XR and let you join the discussion live on MRTV. And now, get ready for another exciting episode coming up.
Hi, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 11 of the Next Dimension Podcast. Your podcast is all about VR and AR. And I'm really looking forward to tonight's show because we have a very special guest. It's Matteo from Matteo311. Matteo, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here.
Oh my goodness, I'm so looking forward to find out all about you and your channel and also about your opinions about all the exciting topics that we're going to talk about tonight. Yeah, great. Also here with me, Gary from Immersed Robot. Gary, how are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, good to talk about some of the topics this week because there's a lot. There is so much going on. I can't honestly keep up with all this stuff.
No, really.
It's like a full-time job to keep up with this stuff.
Yeah, really. And we're going to try to put it into like one nice package here tonight in episode 11. Great to have you here, Gary. And also here with me, Steve, our VR flight sim guy. Steve, how are you doing?
I'm very well. It's great to be back on the podcast. And as Gary just said, like, there's so much going on right now. It is literally a full-time job trying to keep up with everything. So yeah, I'm looking forward to the discussions tonight.
Exactly. And wow, so many hardware is coming out, right? It's crazy. Perfect. Yeah. Also here with me, Sebastian. I am the founder of MRTV and the host of the Next Dimension Podcast. So for all of you who don't know this podcast yet, this is being live streamed every Saturday at 9 p.m. Berlin, 8 p.m. London, noon in San Francisco, and 3 p.m. in New York City, which is your time zone, Matteo, right?
That's right.
Okay, great. Yeah, so this is also an audio podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, Google, Alexa, and everywhere where you can find podcasts. And if you haven't done so yet, it would be great if you would give us a very nice review on iTunes. Simply get out your iPhone or iPad, open the podcast app, find us, and give us a 5-star review if you enjoy what we're doing here. Yeah, so this episode is going to be full of exciting topics. We're going to talk about Lone Echo 2, which came out last week. Then we have a little topic that we're going to talk about because last week we didn't have a show. It's going to be about the Facebook Horizon, which now is called Horizon Worlds. So the metaverse, the Facebook metaverse they're working on, we're going to talk about that one. Then we're going to talk about hardware. So there's going to be some interesting shows coming up, right? Like, for example, Pimax. Pimax has a show. It's going to be called Pimax Frontier. And it seems like they are going to talk about another new headset. That is going to be interesting for sure. Then, of course, we had the launch of the HTC Vive Flow, and that is going to be a very interesting discussion about this. What do we think about this headset? What do you think about the marketing, the target audience, the chances of this? Everything we're going to talk about in this show. Also, we're going to talk about what Facebook might have in store because, well, they teased 2 new headsets, like a Retina display headset and like this small kind of form factor headset. And of course, Facebook Connect is going to be coming up very soon. So I would like to know from all of us what we're thinking is going to happen there. Yeah, I think that's already enough for one show. And probably we'll find some more topics. Anyways, before we go into the topics, we're going to talk about what we've done all the week. And I would like to start with you, Matteo. So we meet each other here now for the first time. It's my pleasure to meet you. And I know you have a very successful channel, Matteo311, which is all about VR. And tell us a bit more about your channel, what you do, what you love, how you got to VR, and give us a bit of your backstory. That would be amazing.
Sure. So I've only been on the YouTube thing for 2.5 years now, a little bit less than 2.5 years. I started VR, I got it at launch. I got an HTC Vive at launch. I didn't even look into it. I said, nope, I want to be a part of this. VR looks amazing. I'm going for it. Original channels like your channel, VR365, even like Ty and a couple other people. Is I used to watch you guys all the time. Even Ben Plays VR, and I know you guys were talking about this room earlier. I had to
it's beautiful.
I had to redo this room due to flood damage.
Oh,
so
wow.
I redid the whole place, made it my man cave, made a video about it, and then I was like, I really enjoyed putting together that video. I used to put some clips up on YouTube. I'm really into VR now. Let's jump back into it. Let's start doing that. And my first stuff was terrible, but I think I've come along in those past 2 years, and now I just I do a weekly news segment on Monday, just talking about all the stuff that's going on. It's like a quick recap, the games that launched, one major topic. Like probably Monday will be the HTC Vive Flow, so I'll talk about that on Monday. Then I have some opinion pieces, and lately I've been throwing in more game reviews. It's usually like if it's just a big game that I'm really excited to cover. So it's mostly a game review, a quick like what's going on in the VR industry, and then some type of opinion piece if something came out or there's something that's controversial in the industry. I'll probably spend 10 minutes talking about that.
Great.
That's the channel in a nutshell.
Perfect.
I think you do some technical stuff. You've got a background in IT, I believe, as well, haven't you? So you can get into the technical side as well, which I really enjoy on your videos. So I like somebody that's got that background where they can talk about some of this stuff a little bit more in depth, which I really enjoy about your stuff as well.
I think that the technical side definitely helps, because when you understand something really well, it makes it much easier to describe. And I'm not a channel about, okay, I'm going to go, really deep into the specs and stuff. I'm going to give you the cliff notes, the information you came for.
Yeah, yeah.
There's other channels you can go if you really want to go deep in depth. But I think most people are like, is it good? Should I get it? How does it look? How does it sound? And that's what you're going to get from me.
Yeah.
Great, yeah. And you're also not afraid to touch like hot topics. Like I know, some of my viewers, they just told me, okay, you know what, Matteo, watch this guy. He's like up and coming, and he has like his real own opinions, which you will like, Sebastian. And yeah, they were right. So it's really cool. It's really good to have you here on the channel, and tell us a bit more about what you're doing. So, and tell us more. What headsets do you normally use? Do you like PC VR? Are you more into Quest stuff? What is your go-to device?
So probably about 85% of the time, I'm a Valve Index guy.
Ah, okay, yeah, that's good. That's a good headset.
And then my Quest 2 is used, the 15% of the time, basically just for exclusives or when I'm traveling.
Okay, all right. And what kind of games do you enjoy? Are you the shooter guy, or do you like other?
So I play everything, because one aspect of VR that I didn't expect was the immersion level is making me like content like I didn't like previously. Like something like Moss, everyone's like, you got to play Moss. I'm like, a mouse protagonist puzzle game? Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that. I was going full alpha male. I'm an old, dude, and I'm too manly for that. But I mean,
I loved it, actually.
Moss was amazing.
You're right. Yeah, exactly. It's so good.
The second I finished the game, I emailed the developers. And I was like, thank you for that opportunity. That game was an amazing experience. You completely blew me away. So I try and play everything. So I do a video once a year, like recapping every game I played, and it's at like 250 games at this point.
Okay.
Wow, that's going to be some video. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Lots of videos out there. Nice. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, you might just come across a gem like Moss, right? Even though we didn't think it might be amazing, but it was. It was just an amazing game. Great. Yeah, and are you doing this full time, your channel, or is it more like a hobby next to whatever you do?
I probably get 10, maybe a little bit more hours a week for YouTube.
Okay.
I have a full-time job. I have 2 young kids. My wife is never home. So I am always just like struggling just to get, my bare minimum content out, which is 1 or 2 videos a week. Okay,
wow. But for only having like 10 hours, it's pretty amazing what you're doing. So that's
killing myself.
Yeah, I mean, all of us content creators, all of the VR YouTube content creators, right? They're doing an amazing job, honestly speaking. Like what they're putting out, and like how we kind of like push the topic into the open, right? Because other than us, basically nobody is talking about VR, right?
Yeah.
So it's
insane as well
crazy.
how much time it actually takes to make a video, because I recently got into doing this video stuff. It's absolutely crazy. You don't appreciate it. It's like you do a 5-minute video and it's took you all day.
Oh God,
all this editing and all of this.
It's
kind
ridiculous.
Of stuff.
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
literally right now uploading a video. I've done it 3 times so far, and each time I've had some sort of issue. It was supposed to be on this morning, so I'm actually uploading it again. It's not going to be done until about 4 a.m. That's what it's like.
It's crazy. So, it's really crazy. Right. And then Matteo, I also think you're like scripting your videos, right? Like I watched some of your the news shows, and it's just like perfectly scripted, it seems. Or is it? Or do you just talk about it?
I have a template, but I rarely script.
Oh, really? Okay. Wow.
So like I will make a list and go, okay, I'll start my video off probably with like the release schedule. And I will just list out the names of the games, turn on my mic, and go. And then just have to chop up a lot of audio.
Wow. Okay. Because when I watch your videos, it just feels like perfectly scripted to me.
That's a year plus working on the format. Okay. So I guess it paid off.
It did. Really cool. And how was your last week? What did you do? What kind of games did you play? Did you have time?
I put up a review of Lone Echo. So that's what I was playing. I am playing some yet to be released stuff right now. So obviously I can't talk about that. I'm sure people can guess what that is. And then in my free time, which is very rare, I've been playing Legendary Tales, which I absolutely love, and most people are not familiar with.
Yeah, I also don't know. What is it about?
Blank faces all around.
Is that the dungeon crawling type?
Yes.
one?
Yeah. It's a 4-person co-op, physics-based dungeon crawler. It's got unique elements to it. Fantastic combat. So much fun. You find all these cool, unique weapons. It's great. It's like 75% of everything I wanted in my ideal VR game.
Wow, that sounds amazing. Cool.
It is funny what you said though, Matteo, about sort of, you're actually doing things in VR you never thought you'd be interested in. Like there was a developer on the show not long ago, made a game called Rainbow Reactor. And I remember when I first tried it, I thought, this is just like a silly bubble game. I'm not going to be into this. And then for the week preceding that, I was on it every single night and completed it and everything. I was like, what am I doing? Why is this so important?
That's so fun.
So I think it's because it's just something different about being in VR in these certain experiences. They are experiences, no matter what VR, even whatever genre it is. It's still an experience, and I think that's what keeps you coming back.
Honestly, there are so many VR games. Most of them are casual, but they suck you right in, and they're fantastic. But I'm still waiting for kind of what VR promised, like that immersive world you get sucked into, that you feel like you're living it. And I'm waiting for that in like a fantasy RPG setting. And that's why Legendary Tales appeals to me so much.
Okay.
It has the combat, it has the co-op, it has a lot of that stuff. You want to save up a lot of gold, find these magical items, stuff like that. It just doesn't have, questing and the storyline of a great RPG. But that's why I said it's 70% there. But it's early access.
That sounds pretty good, though. I'm still waiting for the time when we all have the perfect omnidirectional treadmill, so that we basically have the holodeck. We can really walk around.
Yeah.
That I'm so looking forward to that, and for sure it's going to happen. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Matteo 311. Please do check out his channel. I've linked it down in the description of this video. You absolutely must subscribe. It's amazing content, and I'm glad to have you here, Matteo. Okay, cool. So how about you, Gary? How was your week, VR-wise or AR-wise? Or no, tell us about your videos. You're making like high-quality videos now.
Well, I'll tell you what I will talk about, actually, which is featuring in one of my videos, is this thing called Tinker Pilot. It's only very, very early on at the moment. It's an alpha. You can sort of support them on Patreon on the lowest tier and get access to this alpha via Discord. And the reason I saw a trailer for this a couple of weeks ago, and it just caught my eye straight away. So I went onto the Patreon once they launched this and supported them, so I could get access to this alpha. And the unique thing about this game is that it allows you to have a mixture of HOTAS controls, like in Elite Dangerous. It's a spaceship game, like a space combat kind of game. But you can use HOTAS controls, but you can also use hand tracking as well at the same time. So you can have fantastic HOTAS controls, which I always need in something like that. But then you've got these extra controls. So I've actually mounted a Leap Motion on my Valve Index in the Funk section. And the Leap Motion has got some of the best hand tracking anyway going. Now you can use the cameras, the integrated cameras in the Valve Index as well, or even the Vive cameras to do this hand tracking. But the Leap Motion really works the best. So you can sit in this spaceship, fly around, do all these little combat missions and stuff like that, while also having hand tracking to manipulate all these other extra controls.
Oh, wow.
And this is like
sounds
something
amazing, man.
Well, yeah, it is. And it's something like, because Microsoft Flight Simulator, and Steve, I know you know about this, that they are implementing motion controls, VR motion controls in that game at some point in the future, which is fantastic. And I think it's going to work really well. But how good would it be if they also implemented some kind of hand tracking solution as well?
Absolutely.
Right.
I think that will end up coming from a third-party developer. I think that's what will end up happening with that. I can't see Asobo doing that anytime soon, unfortunately. But yeah, even just controllers will be a huge step forward, you know.
Yeah, but it works so well just having this, and you can also in this Tinker Pilot, so it's very customizable. You can move things around and all this kind of stuff. And then you've also got motion controllers that you can implement as well. So you've got 3 different kinds of control methods all happening at the same time, and you can just do it however you want. And yeah, I think it's great. I mean, what's there at the moment, it's very bare bones. It's like tiny little missions and things like that at the moment. But they're working on it. It's only in an alpha, so I'm hopeful that they'll continue to do something with that. And somebody mentioned on one of my videos, actually, like a comment where it would be great if these developers could somehow create some kind of overlay which you could just install on Steam VR or something like that, and then it would integrate this kind of hand tracking system in other games like Elite Dangerous and that kind of stuff. Of course, that's going to be a lot of hard work and would need collaboration with the developers themselves of Elite Dangerous. But it's an interesting thought anyway, and it gives you that extra little bit of immersion, just having your hands in there as well as having all these other controls. So yeah, that's really what I've been doing this week. I've been experimenting with that.
Great. Yeah. And next week we're going to meet in Paris.
Exactly, yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, checking out the Lynx AR VR headset. Looking forward to meet you, obviously, and to try out the device.
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, Steve, tell us about your week. What have you been doing?
Loads, absolutely loads, but I will keep it brief. I always seem to, when you ask me this, have loads to say, but one week I'll be like, I'm done absolutely nothing. But no, I think quite a bit of geeky VR things this week, the last couple of weeks actually. I've been very lucky to have a loan unit of a PC basically from Stormforce, which is a top-end AMD system. It's running a 5900X with a 6900 XT, 12GB graphics card. So I've been comparing it and pitting it against my Intel-based system, which is the 10900K running the RTX 3090. This is so geeky, but never mind. And I've been testing this basically to see how they both perform in VR and really high-end, difficult apps, flight sims, obviously, like Microsoft Flight Simulator. And it's been really interesting, actually, comparing them, because it just really shows, actually, that even though AMD are the king for frame rate, they are super. I mean, their CPUs are really, really, just that bit better than the Intel in terms of raw speed. But it's the driver support that they really struggle on, and particularly for VR, they don't perform as well. I think when it comes to high resolution VR, that graphics card really showed. I mean, at one point, my G2 was like having a fit. It literally, I put it native resolution, and one of the displays started shutting down. It just couldn't cope with it. Yet whether my actual 3090 system really ran it really well. So it's been a nightmare making those videos. I'm not really much of a benchmarker. I'm not much of I don't do too many techie things, but comparing them back to back, it took forever to do those videos. I've got a couple more to come of that system, but it's been really, really interesting to sort of compare them both, in sort of high intensive VR applications and, particularly Sims mainly, I suppose. So yeah, that's been kind of interesting. What else? Trying to think. What do you say? Because I've been doing a lot of really cool secret stuff that I'm really looking forward to showing on the channel
secret stuff
next week. Secret stuff, I'm going to call it that. And I am beyond excited to tell you. I'm literally like bursting at the seams to tell everybody about this. It was so funny because I posted a video of the HTC Vive Flow. And everyone was like, "What? That's not the news, surely? Is that what it was all about?" I was like, "No, it's not. That's just a news article, but it's not the big thing that's happening." So yeah, I've been very busy doing that. Also, Pimax.
Can't wait to find out about the secret thing you're doing.
Me too, Seb. Yeah, definitely. And here, the Pimax. Actually, this is what I've got it here. To be honest, is I've been trying out the new DMAS audio, which is this, and that's why I haven't got a funny background today because I thought it'd be easier to show this on the camera, and the hand tracking module, which isn't working, by the way. It's a dud, so that's great. Never mind. But yeah, the idea of this DMAS solution is it's a floating ear design like the Reverb D2 and Valve Index audio, which I prefer that. I've always preferred that floating ear design if it's done well.
Yeah, me too. I like it too.
Yeah, it's just because it makes you feel a lot cooler in VR. I don't mean you look good. I mean, it actually makes you, temperature-wise, when this thing's on your head, you get hot very quickly. That's the only thing. One of the downfalls of the 8KX is the fact it's massive and you get hot in it very quickly. So anything that alleviates that sort of temperature, and so I was in this about 2 hours the other day playing IL-2, and my God, it was brilliant. But I have to say the audio, it's a mixed bag. I like the design of it. I like what they're doing with it, but it really lacks bass. I think a lot of that is down to the fact that the position of them is just a little bit too far away from your ear. It doesn't need to be that much for that bass to be lost. And I think they could really do with messing around with the frequencies a bit more.
Steve, be careful here. You might never get any hardware from Pimax again, like me.
I don't care about that. I honestly don't care. But honestly, I see what they're trying to do here. I was really excited to try it out, and I still prefer it over the KD-Mass. I do, but only because I like that floating ear design. That's a winner for me personally. But I think for most people,
too, yeah, right.
I think most people would probably prefer the KD-Mass simply because it has a better bass response. And I'm a stickler for audio. I do like the mid-range and high frequency response from this. That's good, but it's just that bass response. That's so important.
But aren't these actually this exactly the same drivers like in the Valve Index, like the same loudspeakers? That's what I thought.
Really? Well, they don't sound like it.
Okay.
No, definitely not.
Okay. Because the Valve Index and the G2, they have like a great bass.
Yeah.
Right? Like a fantastic bass.
Oh, just what they did, amazing.
Right?
I was going to say, actually, is there any way that they can build upon that audio? What would be the next thing? What would be the next progression?
I really think they made the perfect headphones, right?
Yeah.
Matteo, what are your thoughts about the Index headphones?
The Index audio is absolutely fantastic. I was going to comment about the Pimax. They told me that because I said, the audio definitely isn't as good as the Index. And they said it had like above 95% of the same frequency range. And they said it should be extremely close. And I'm like, well, it's not. I'm not an audiophile. I can't, tell you what's missing. I could just tell you I like this one over this one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I even suggested in their like firmware just to boost the mid range in the KD-Mass, and then with this, it's got all of those high frequencies, and the separation of those frequencies are really nice. But it just, as I say, it lacks that real nice bass. And you know what? And they're going to hate me for saying this, but I don't care. When I put the Quest back on, I was like, bloody hell! Actually, the Quest 2 audio is pretty damn good compared to this.
What?
I mean,
what?
I would say the DMAS
it's confirmed. No more hardware for the Flight Sim guy.
The DMAS is better, but not that much better than the Quest. The Quest 2 isn't as good, but it impressed me because it's almost there. It's almost as good. And
the Quest is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah, I was very surprised.
I've got no ethics, Pimax. Send me whatever you want. 10 out of 10 from you.
Throw it over your way, Gary. You're only an hour away from me, so you can have a go with it. But people on my channel know I love the 8KX, but I'll be honest about everything. And I was hoping for better with the DMAS, to be honest.
Okay.
I'm a bit disappointed by it. And that's because I've got the G2. Maybe if I didn't have the G2, I'd be really impressed with it. But that audio, it should be on every single headset.
I agree. Really.
It's brilliant.
This is so good. Exactly.
Yeah. So I suppose I'll just finish off. I have been using the Quest quite a bit, playing Sniper Elite. It's a funny game, that is. It's so arcadey, and I really wish it was a bit more grittier, but it is fun. And I've just been enjoying playing a bit of that and trying to get through it because there's so much going on in VR. I'm trying my hardest to get through some of the games and sims that I'm, doing. I've got some campaigns going in IL2 and DCS, and I'm just like any sort of option I can. It's like, when you're trying to find time to make videos and actually enjoy VR for yourself. It's tricky, but yeah, I've been really enjoying Sniper Elite for what it is. I don't think it's worth the full price, but I think if you get it on a sale, it's definitely a bit of fun. And I really want to play Lone Echo. I haven't played any of that. I haven't played, obviously, the first one and the second one, which is terrible. So I need to sort that out.
You need to. It's fantastic. Really, it's really good. Okay, that's your week?
No, but that will do for now, I think.
Okay, secret stuff going on. Looking forward to that. Yeah, cool.
So, what have you been up to?
Yeah. Well, I played like 3 games overall. I played Lone Echo, but Lone Echo 1, because actually when it came out like years ago, I did play a bit into it, but not like the whole game. So now I played way longer, a couple of hours, and I totally love it. So I absolutely want to play the first part before I play the second part, and I'm looking forward to find out what Matteo thought about Lone Echo 2. But so far I hear very good things about it, so I love the first part. I'm like shocked, like how good it looks. Like even now, right? Like I don't know, like 4 years after it has been like launched, it's fantastic. So I love Lone Echo 1 right now, and therefore I'm looking forward to play Lone Echo 2 as well. But Lone Echo 2 is going to be a topic of today's show. So that's one part. Then I played Unplugged VR. It's going to come out very soon. 21st, I believe, right? And it's cool. It's I didn't expect that it works so well. Actually, like this finger tracking and playing the air guitar. I was totally going crazy with this actually, because now I have the full version. Before I only had like 3 songs. Now I can play the whole thing. Yeah, yes, you will enjoy it probably. It's going to be good. It's going to be really, really good. Does
it make you want to play the guitar?
Of course. Like I told you, like one of my dreams is to play in front of some people and then destroy a guitar.
If you ever come over here, you've got to come to a gig, and you can do that to one of my old guitars. Just literally throw it. Yeah, do
it. Please let me do that.
I'll record it. It'll have millions of views. It'd be so cool.
Let's do that. That's a promise. Okay, I will come and destroy one of your guitars.
Yeah. Honestly, we'll do it.
Well, if he's destroying one, can I destroy one as well?
yeah.
You've got too many back there.
I'm not destroying my own guitars.
Yeah, we're just going to destroy yours. Yeah, right. So that was I was doing, and then actually the most amazing thing that I did in VR last week, I finally got into Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Yes.
Steve, you're going to be like proud of me.
I'm very proud.
Before I simply didn't want to put in the time. So I did go into Microsoft Flight Simulator before, but only to do through the lens videos, right? That's what I do. I get new headsets and I make through the lens videos of the games that people want to see those headsets, right? But this time now, I really thought like, okay, I really want to play Microsoft Flight Simulator so I can understand it better and take more videos as well for some headsets, and it's really, really, really good. So I never really played the game with a throttle and the flight stick. I just used the mouse, right, and keyboard for Microsoft Flight Simulator, and that is not so good, honestly speaking. I think it's really not so good. So now I finally connected my flight stick and the throttle that I bought, because I reviewed them at one point, and I played Microsoft Flight Simulator for a couple of hours, and it so sucked me in. I love it. The immersion is fantastic. I totally understand you now. Steve.
I can't stop
what's
smiling?
Yeah, it's
to hear
so
you
good.
Say this.
No, you are right all along. Like I always thought, like, okay, what's in it? Like flying a plane and really like putting in the hours to sit in that plane. But now I get it. It's freaking amazing. It is so cool.
It's amazing you spend 2 hours. That is,
and that day,
shows you are now officially a flight simmer. So congratulations.
so fast already. Yeah, I had my own flight with my own takeoff and my own landing. So that's
nice.
it does feel like an accomplishment somehow.
Yeah, it does.
Because they do it so well. It feels so real, right? You really have to do all the things that you really have to do. So wow, I'm super fascinated by that.
To me, the fact that it's the real world, that you're flying over the real world locations.
You're right.
That's the thing that separates it for me, and that's the main thing. Because I've been I've dabbled in flight simulators before, but I've never really been sucked in the way that Microsoft Flight Simulator sucked me in, and it's because it's real world locations and you can go anywhere. It's fantastic.
It's crazy. It really did suck me in, and
it is.
It's
come
unbelievable.
a long way.
Yeah,
I mean, it's impressive because I used to play it back in the 90s. I
Oh,
always
wow,
played PC gaming. And even then it was, looked terrible, but it was realistic back then because my uncle used to fly planes and I was a kid and I kept crashing. And he was like, move over. And he's like, just tell me what does what.
Yeah,
He landed the plane and I was amazed. Like, I was just like, that's not possible.
It's so
even
cool.
back then it was realistic.
Yeah,
and
I
now
remember.
It's just
Absolutely, even at school, we had like a flight sim club. I mean, how we didn't get bullied, it was, I don't know how that didn't happen. But it was loads of people that were into it, and we had these Acorn computers, and I think it was FS95 or probably even something before that, and it was just wire frames and just pixels, and even then it was amazing. And then you think about what we have now, like even just a couple of days ago, I sometimes think about some of the experiences I've had, like I was flying over Mount Everest and just, looking at all the base camps and everything and just looking down and just being at 30,000 feet and then seeing, you literally are on top of the world there, and it's just seeing the horizon and, oh my God, it's quite an experience. You don't have to approach it in a really serious way. You don't have to do checklists and FMSs and navs, exercises. I mean, you can do that like I do, but at the same time, you can just enjoy it and just be a casual flyer. And I think they've got that balance really well.
That Everest one, Steve, I did that recently as well because that's like a new edition. It's one of the what are those called? They're the where you have
Discovery
a bit of music.
Flights,
Discovery flights, yeah. That's one of those. That's fantastic.
With the music as well, it's so dramatic. Isn't it? It's just amazing. It's a great way to relax, I think.
Oh my God, I'm so into that now. It's crazy. So it's just fantastic. So I'm here now at my office, and I was playing this, and then I went home. It was already like 11 p.m. And then I installed Microsoft Flight Simulator on my laptop to continue it. I'm addicted. But then I played it for a moment in 2D, and I'm just saying, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for all these people who are playing this on a monitor, on a screen, and think it's amazing. It's like so ridiculous. I felt it's so ridiculous to look on that 2D screen and to try to fly the plane and feel like immersed. And then the way how you look around, it's so funny. So wow. Then I got out my Quest because I have it at home, and I connected the Quest, and then I was again in VR, and I kept on playing. Yeah, okay, I'm officially now totally into this thing, and Steve, I get you now. It makes sense now. It makes sense.
We all welcome you with open arms.
Yes. Okay. Great.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Great to have you aboard.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
It's exciting to try it out, and wow, so cool. Yeah. So that was my week. Okay, so now let's get into the exciting stuff. And let's start with one topic that we didn't talk about last week, because last week we didn't have a show, but I still want to talk about it because, well, it is the future, the metaverse. Yeah, it's the new buzzword, the metaverse. And, Facebook is also in on it, and they have their own worlds. They called it before Facebook Horizon, and now they're rebranding it to Horizon Worlds. And what is it? It is, a virtual world where they give you quite lots of tools, and you can build your own tools. So it's about people making own worlds that you can explore then. And unfortunately, in Europe, I have no chance to get access to the beta. I tried everything to get into the beta, but I had no chance to try it out myself. But in the States, people can already try it. In the beginning, it was supposed to be really not good at all compared to Rec Room or what. But now it seems they have, upon getting this kind of feedback from the early people who tried it, they have improved on the world. And now it seems like the tools, the building tools are really good. And Facebook is offering up $10 million for creators that creators can somehow earn. They have not specified yet how they're going to distribute that 10 million, but they want to get creators to build stuff and they're incentivizing them with 10 million. So I would like to discuss this topic with you, and I would like to find out, first of all, Matteo, what are your thoughts about like the metaverse and social VR? Is it something that gets you excited, or what are your thoughts?
So social VR is actually quite amazing. We see that, with Neos VR and VR chat, people live in it. We have VTubers. So there's a huge aspect to social VR. And like, I was one of the people who didn't really appreciate VR chat that much, but then one day I did like a special 12-hour stream, and part of it, like I was doing a whole tour of VR, everyone's favorite games, my favorite games, some of other YouTubers' favorite games. I know some people are big on VR chat, and I just jumped in, and immediately, like so many people from my community, they're like, get the biggest room you can. And like so many people from my community just keep popping in, and it was just so nice to just hang out in VR, have a conversation. You could fool around, you could take it serious, you could do whatever you want. So the social aspect is fantastic. That's undeniable.
Right.
Now, when it comes to Horizons, I had access to the beta.
Oh, cool.
I was like, maybe Facebook should stop stealing ideas from other people for a second, because it was so Rec Room in the beginning, and it was, Rec Room inferior.
Wow.
And I haven't seen it anytime recently, but I personally like Rec Room. I think Rec Room has a lot going for it. And this is, Facebook cloning that. Maybe now they're like, okay, we'll expand it. We'll do more things. But I've also seen the joke, $10 million to get creators in. They're like, oh, yeah, Horizons is so bad. You got to pay people to get in there.
Right.
I don't know. But I can't judge anything yet. So when there's more to see, I'll have an opinion.
Yeah, right. But what do you think about that rebranding from Facebook Horizons to Horizon Worlds? Like gaming science teacher says it right now. Probably Facebook is right now more of a stigma, right, instead of like a advertisement for themselves.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, I like the name better.
Yeah.
I mean, Horizons, I get it. Worlds, goes right into that whole metaverse thing. It has more of a metaverse feel to it. Mm-hmm. At the end, it's just a name, and it doesn't mean much to me.
Okay. Gary, what are your thoughts about social VR? Is it something that excites you, that you spend time in? And what are your thoughts about Horizon World?
I don't spend a lot of time in social VR, but I'm intrigued by it. And the reason I am is because I've read Ready Player One, and I want that kind of metaverse. That's the thing that I want. I want that to be like this seamless, persistent world where you can go to all these various discrete places, enjoy something, and it's not separated by these distinct rooms and stuff like that. I would love that. I know it's a difficult problem to solve to get to that point, but that's what I would love. But I don't really go into VR chat or anything too much. I actually spent more time in VR chat back in 2015 before I even had VR. Because I was just excited to talk about VR with people, and that was the best place to go and talk with people. And I just played it on a desktop, which you could do, and speak with people that were actually wearing DK2s back then. So, yeah, I'm not really a social VR kind of person, but I understand it, and I understand that one day perhaps it will draw me in. It will get compelling enough to draw me in.
But what could draw you in?
I think it's more about rather than having these little rooms and just people gathering and not really having anything particular to say or anything particular to do. I want like a world. I want a world that you can go and have all of these different places that offer different things, different experiences. It's almost like having a bowling alley or something like that. You can go to the bowling alley, play bowling, and meet people at the bowling alley, and replicate the real world a bit more than having something like Rec Room, which, don't get me wrong, I think Rec Room's fantastic. And when that first came out, it really was fantastic to have that kind of experience in there. But you go to sort of it loads these levels. You go to a place and you're playing paintball now. And then you come out of paintball, you're back in the lobby area and you go to something else. I want it to feel more replicate the real world and have that kind of thing.
I got it. You really want to travel from A to B, from the bowling alley to the paintball field, like real world, like a Disney World where you can go into.
Yeah. But have things to do that distract you on the way and all this kind of stuff. I want it to feel a bit more like that.
Yeah, you want Ready Player One, basically.
I want Ready Player One. It's not realistic, I know. But
no, but it's going to happen. I do believe it's going to happen at one point.
Yeah.
Right. So, Steve, this is not a flight simulation. But you think you cannot enjoy this, or what?
No, honestly, everything that Gary said, I just literally agree with everything he said. So basically that's it, really. But in terms of sort of like the metaverse, it's making me laugh. Like every single announcement that's being made this last couple of weeks and, preceding that into this next week has the word metaverse in it. It's the
it's a buzzword. Like absolutely. Yeah, you're right.
Some sort of... Go on, yeah.
I was going to say, isn't that like when the internet was first coming out?
I was about to say...
Yeah. The internet, what is it? Like this terrible...
The World Wide Web.
Yeah.
Right.
We need an internet, a 3D version of the internet for VR with, like you say, like Gary said, like imagine like GTA with like, remember Test Drive Unlimited? Anyone remember that? Is it where you could like buy your own house and stuff and you can go to different shops and buy clothes and that kind of stuff? Just silly things like that. Social VR... It's not something I do a lot, but it would be if it was like Gary said, literally. Like it would be amazing to be in a completely new virtual world where you can actually feel a bit more connected to it rather than it just being, load here, load there. But I don't know how that would work personally. But maybe Facebook is the company that could make that happen more than anybody else, because it will need intense, crazy amounts of investment because... all these companies will be making their own versions of their own metaverse, and then we need like for them to join forces or some kind of
like the internet, you need some standardization,
exactly.
like HTML,
standardization,
stuff like that.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah,
but this is that. It's actually encouraging though, because Mark Zuckerberg, one of the things that he has said in the past, the metaverse is not going to be one company. So I think I've mentioned this before. I think it's actually encouraging what he said about this before. He said that just going onto one company's metaverse will sound as ridiculous in the future as going onto one company's internet. It doesn't work like that. So I'm actually encouraged by, not everything he says and stuff like that. But I think, credit where it's due. I think that is exactly the right idea. We need a metaverse which companies can be a part of separately.
Yeah, that would be exactly right. Exactly.
That's what we need. Totally.
Right. Totally agree with what you said, and also with what Matteo said, like the standardization. That would be amazing, and that they would be compatible, those worlds, and you're not just like in one world or whatever. And I think it's going to be amazing, honestly speaking. I think we're going to spend much more time in the metaverse, not only playing, but also working and learning. Just like in Ready Player One, if you read the book, they go to universities that are completely not online, but in the metaverse. And they totally meet up in these universities which are in the metaverse, and it's fantastic. And I believe it's going to happen this way because I really think it's ridiculous to physically have to go to a building and to meet people. I mean, now during the pandemic, we have seen, right, that it's now also happening over Zoom or something. But really to have this spatially, that's going to be amazing. And, well, I taught people before in Rec Room some languages, some Chinese, and it was fantastic. It's just so much fun, and it feels so good. Anyways, so the thing that I don't like about Horizon, and now Sebastian is at it again with the privacy, I don't like that all the time it's recording everything that's going to happen around you. Because that is actually what they said. Like all the last 3 minutes, they will be recorded, your viewpoint, and whenever you see something that you think is bad, then you can report it, and Facebook looks at these last 3 minutes and probably is like somebody of the admins is floating around you and watching everything, and then they can just ban people. So in my opinion, I personally wouldn't feel very free in that world when all of the time I feel like somebody's watching me. So with this kind of feeling, I'm not free. I would like self-censor myself. And in that point, I don't like
people, though, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course, it's to protect people. Yes, but just the same way that Apple said before, okay, because we want to protect people from this child porn thing, we're going to like scan all the people's iPhone. And I'm happy that they went away from this because that can be misused. Because yes, right now, then we must. We must just trust Apple or Facebook that they're using these powers for the right thing. But what if later somebody at Facebook is not like a person that you want to trust? So, Matteo, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, no, I mean, it goes way more than just privacy because these tools are going to allow Facebook to basically have a psychological profile on everyone.
Exactly.
I mean, there's been studies done even by Facebook that show they know how to manipulate us. They can alter our feed, which will alter our behavior.
Exactly,
which is really scary. And when you have those built up, aggregated, all that information on someone, their likes, their everything, that's like a scary amount of information. Then combine that with things like eye tracking. You get pupil dilation and race and, all that stuff from facial tracking. They're going to have too much information. It gets really scary. You go into this latest season of Westworld type scenario where there's like a big brain computer just kind of, feeding us information to keep us along a certain path.
Right.
Right. I know it sounds dystopian, crazy,
futuristic. No, it's not so crazy. No, really, I don't think it's so crazy, man. Really, it's really scary. Like now, okay, we think like Facebook is doing the right thing, but what if not? At one point,
Yeah, I think it's a difficult problem to solve, honestly, because there's a lot of things that are happening on Twitch and stuff like this, and we want these companies to be accountable for the stuff that goes on their platform, and while also not being too invasive. And it's a difficult balance to get with this stuff. And I do agree with you, Sebastian. We don't know. I think it's all comes down to transparency. And
right.
dare I say it, some kind of regulation. They need somebody to go in and
totally
keep track of this stuff.
Totally
I believe in regulation. I mean, there's two aspects to it. There's legality and there's morality. And, people will be like, well, they're not doing anything illegal. You're willingly giving them this information. When you use a headset with eye tracking or you sign up and use your name, you're willingly giving them this information. So they have it. And they're just using it to the best of their ability. So there's nothing illegal there. You can make that argument and fine. But at the end of the day, when you have that much power, it gets scary. It really gets scary.
Totally agreed. And really, they will just do what they can do. It seems like Facebook is just doing everything they can do because nobody is stopping them. And honestly speaking, I'm really happy about the German government here. We said like, okay, no, this is not right. What you're doing here, forcing people with a Facebook login. I cannot buy the Quest here in Germany. I can buy it from France and everything. But I really believe that regulation is the right thing, and it's the only way to stop the big tech to do whatever they want. So therefore,
No, I was going to say, think about this. Facebook has a platform that is proven that can change perception. Misinformation goes out, whatever. It can change a person's perception, and they have that tool. And then, the government comes and says, listen, you have a tool that's too powerful. We want to regulate you. They use that tool to change the public opinion. Like, oh, the government is overreaching. Right. Or, look at this. This is, like the Nazi Germany articles will come up and they'll compare Nazi Germany to, regulating Facebook. That stuff will happen. And they can control public opinion, which is too powerful.
It's scary. Totally agreed. It's absolutely too scary. And these big tech companies, if you think about it, what kind of power they have. Just saying, okay, this app, we don't want to have it in the store. Right? If just like Apple and Facebook and Google and Amazon say, okay, no, we don't want this, they have the power to say this app shouldn't be in the store. So it's too much, right? It's something that the government should do. Like, yeah, I totally don't agree with what is being said on this Parler app, for example, but that they have the power to just say we don't want this is too much power. But wow, this is a crazy topic. This is a whole crazy topic by itself. But it's interesting to talk about it and think about, okay, here with these metaverses, wow, this could be crazy as well. If you do everything there and everything that you say and every way that you move and everything that you look at is being recorded and analyzed by Facebook in order, first of all, for their financial benefit. Of course, they're a company, they want to make money, right? This is like one thing, but on the other hand, this could be used for things that are not great.
At the same time, though, this is nothing new. Like,
right.
Propaganda has been around forever. People have tried to use public opinion. Yeah, people have tried to use public opinion to sway government.
Yeah,
other
media,
tech companies are doing very similar stuff. It's nothing new. It's just, listen, we're at the precipice of a new technology. And with every new technology, it can be misused or, people can overreach. So while we're at this point is where we need to kind of step in and start with regulation.
Totally agreed. And Gary even wrote a whole book about this topic. It's called The Memory Engine. And yes, it goes a bit into this direction, right? With one huge company like controlling the metaverse. Yeah. And then there's some kind of reaction against that, right? How is it called again? The other world?
Refuge is
the Refuge
world, yeah. So, it wasn't intended. And by the end of the book, it's really not having anything against Facebook or anything. I'm not trying to have a dig at Facebook in that book. I want to make it clear. But it does talk about some of those questions, at the beginning,
It's good. It's a great book. The Memory Engine, check it out. So, metaverse is going to be a big topic. I truly believe this is going to be a very huge topic in the future, and great to hear your opinions about it. Okay, let's go into the next topic. And now we talk about Lone Echo 2. Yeah, finally, it has been such a long time of waiting, years and years. It had always been postponed, and now you can get it for €40 and $40. Lone Echo 2 for the Oculus Rift, actually. But you can, of course, also play it with Revive on your other VR headsets. So I haven't played it. I've just played the first part now, and I really love the first part. And Matteo, you have played it. So tell us about your feelings about the game. How is it? Is it good? Should we buy it?
It is. Yeah. Okay. If you were a fan of the first one,
yes,
I think you should definitely buy it. First off, I just want to say for people watching, no
spoilers. Yeah, right.
I won't mention any spoilers. Don't worry, you're safe.
Perfect.
I was a little surprised by some of the coverage because I can't see how anyone who played the original, gave the original, a 9 out of 10 and, 5 stars, whatever they did, to turn around and be like, this one's a 7.
Oh, really? Okay.
And that surprised me because, one, it is extremely similar to the first game. So it really is like a straight continuation, no break, really.
Same game.
Same game. They give you some more mechanics. It's a little bit longer. The graphics are a little bit better, but it is very similar. At the same time, though, like, if this game would have came out at the same time as Lone Echo 1, this was Lone Echo 1, it would have still blown people away. I don't understand how it's not a downgrade in any way. So I don't understand how you can downgrade your review. I think it's just your perception has turned over time. Like, if you never played Lone Echo 1 and it came out now, I think you would say, it's a high quality game. And only because Lone Echo 1 is years old and you waited so many years for a sequel that's very similar, people are like, it's not great.
Oh, really? Okay.
Is it just because the hype machine? Did people just expect too much?
And that's like what people are saying. Like, oh, well, it didn't do anything new. Okay. And I'm like, does it need to do anything new to be good? Like, do books always have to do something new? But no, you want the next chapter. You want the next story in the sequence. Does it have to do something more grandiose? Or I understand in tech it's different. Like sequels are always trying to have better graphics, more mechanics. And it succeeds in that, not like to a huge degree, but it also shows like, VR itself hasn't gone that far because PC VR isn't dominant now. Quest is. It looks like this is something that wasn't really capable on Quest, because if Facebook could have had this released on Quest, they would have. It's probably just taken a long time. This game uses its own engine, so that's probably one of the issues too. But I don't get, because I've seen a bunch of negative reviews, and I don't get it.
Oh, really?
I think if you like the original, it is fantastic. The story continues. I think the storyline is better. It's more intriguing than the original. In fact, the second I finished the game, put my headset down, went upstairs, told my wife, sit down at the table. I'm going to tell you about this game I played. And I told her the storyline. And she's like, oh, that sounds really cool. And I'm like, yeah, I know it's really cool. I just played it. So I just can't imagine anyone who liked the original wouldn't like the second one. And that's where I stand with it. I think it's great. I love the original. Yes, it can be slow at times. Especially the original. I think the first hour plus is super slow.
Yeah, but still the immersion, man. But the feeling of floating, the immersion is amazing. Now I'm playing it now for the first time. I love it. It's so crazy.
Could I ask,
even though it's a bit slow, I agree. But but the feeling, you really get the feeling you are there, right? This immersion factor.
And that's what we were sold, VR would be. That's what VR still is to me.
Right.
I want to be immersed. I want to feel like I'm there. I want to be blown away. And it delivers. It's got these stunning graphics. You feel like you're floating around. Liv is the best VR character ever. She's fidelity is unbelievable, so realistic.
Right.
And, I mean, it's an intriguing storyline. So you got me. I don't need action all the time. If you're someone who can't get past the slow hour intro, or you're just looking for action, fine, it's not for you. But if you enjoyed the first one, I think you'll love the second one.
That reminds me, you said when you played, was it Saints and Sinners, or what, you did a live stream?
Yeah, right. Yeah,
you were like, this is just too slow. I need some more action.
Yeah, I don't like this grinding thing. I don't like to have to collect stuff and then combine it. I don't like this whole thing. But for Lone Echo, it feels different. It's just so well done, right? And exactly, Liv is so well animated and so lively, and it feels like you're really, really, really there. Exactly, what Matteo said. This is what VR is about. It puts you somewhere where you would probably never be. I will never be on a space station, probably, right? But and I am there, and I'm really enjoying that whole story and everything that goes on, and the graphics. But even the old title, it looks so unbelievably amazing.
Yeah.
So Matteo, tell us about the new graphics. Is it even better, or is it the same?
It's not a big boost.
Okay.
I mean, it's not a big boost. There's more graphical settings. There's also things to help performance, dynamic resolution, or rather adaptive resolution. So there's a few more things to help with performance. Overall, they look better, because I just recently played through Lone Echo 1, and then in preparation of Lone Echo 2, I replayed Lone Echo 1. And I'm running a 3090, so everything's cranked.
Can I ask, for someone who's never played Lone Echo series at all, if I just jumped in and played Lone Echo 2, would that be a bad move? Would I understand what was going on?
It's a terrible move.
Okay, so it's definitely you have to play the first one first, and it's just a continuation of the story.
Yeah, it's starting a TV series on season 2, basically.
Yeah, because most games, you kind of picks up. You have an idea, or it's a slightly different story. But in this case, okay, that's good to know.
That would be a huge mistake. And to be honest, there's no reason to skip Lone Echo 1, because besides that slow burn intro, it is phenomenal.
This is one of the things I was going to say, that because I've played Lone Echo 1, I absolutely loved, I adored it, and yet I've not picked up Lone Echo 2. And I think part of it is because recently I've played through the first one again, like you, Matteo. I played about 2/3 of the first one again, just over the past couple of months, really. And I felt a little bit like I was burnt out on that. So when the reviews started to hit, some of the reviews saying it's basically more of the same, I felt a little bit burnt out on it. And one of the things that really, I think that first hour in the first game where you're constantly taken out of it to do these tutorial sections is irritating. Paradise Decay has, I think he's mentioned in a few chats now over the past couple of days to me, that you can skip those in Lone Echo 2. So that's encouraging. But it just feels like I made a bit of a mistake by going through Lone Echo 1 again and being a bit burnt out when this one arrived. I don't know if you felt the same or if you were happy to...
I mean, I guess you can feel that way, because I played it before the last time it was supposed to release, so that was a few months back.
Oh, okay.
So like I was ready for the original release date that got pushed back. So I've had, it's been a few months in between. I can get that. Like if I just played through the original Lone Echo, probably took me 5.5, 6 hours. So if I just played through 6 hours of that and to immediately jump into another 7 or 8 hours of that, yeah, maybe I would be like, but I don't know, like walking away from that story and being like, I'm really intrigued to see what happens next. After this game, I'm like, listen, I don't care what they have to do. They need to make more titles in this universe. There's still so much more they could do with Jack and Liv. And not only that, like the lore of the universe, you learn a lot more. And I'm like, there's a million unanswered questions, yet they answered a million questions. But like we can spend, like they could do so many other games in this world. And they can be action games and they can be more, exploration titles like this. And I really, now that, Ready at Dawn is owned by Oculus, I hope they pursue that. I hope they see the value in this universe.
Yeah, probably they will. I believe they will. And what's great also about Lone Echo is that it is one of those few AAA titles that we have, right? We have so many like small games which are also good and fun, but these AAA titles which are so polished, how many do we have? Not so many, right? Like, okay, Half-Life Alyx obviously, and Lone Echo 1 and 2 now, but then what else is there? It's great. It's just great to have it. It's just great to have.
I feel happy, but also sad as well, because I mean, will this be the final? Well, it will be the final AAA title we'll see for the Oculus platform for PC. Of course it will, unless there's anything else happening, which I very much doubt. That's it. The Rift S has one final hurrah, and then that's it, isn't it, really? Which is a shame. But at least the Quest 2, I'm sure it can play it very well on Airlink as well. But it makes me sad.
That's how, if I pick this up, that's how I played through those 2/3 of the first game again with Airlink. Fantastic.
What was it like? Yeah,
it looks so good.
Absolutely
great. It's amazing.
Right,
now.
Stormland's
Well,
fantastic as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But I wouldn't say we won't get any more AAA games. We can also get AAA games on the Quest 2 or on the Quest Pro or whatever is going to come out soon.
It's not the same.
Are they really AAA on the Quest 2?
Yeah. Not like this. You're right. Not like this. I think now. But in the future they will be.
Sorry, I was just asking Mathieu, like, I don't know. Obviously, you've been doing a lot of Quest 2 content. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been covering all the latest games.
So, how did it feel going back to a full fat PC VR experience? Did you think to yourself, "My God, I've missed this so much. This is what it's all about"?
I mean, the funny thing is, I still play primarily PC VR, and there were a few like stunners that came out of nowhere this year. Everslot, if you've played it. Everslot is fantastic. Early access, not much to it right now, but
you could give me like 10 games I could just write down now, and then I'd know a lot more straight away. So I'm going to write these down.
Yeah, Everslot is fantastic. Early access, not much to it right now, but phenomenal graphics. Like it's kind of like Doom meets Diablo. It gets your blood rushing. It's really great. Like the audio kicks up, and there's like rock music blasting, and all these creatures charging at you, and it's fantastic. And it's a stunner. It looks great. Hubris, I played the demo hour-long demo for that. Phenomenal graphics, like top tier up there with Lone Echo and Half-Life Alyx. Looks unbelievable. And then I told you I've been playing Legendary Tales. That's very impressive. Great graphics, not as good as the other titles, but the physics. You have multiplayer co-op and physics combat. That's a winner right there. So I'm still very deep on PC VR, even though PC VR is dead.
No, I don't think so. I mean, keep on going.
Yeah, I know. I did air quotes for that. But,
You're right.
So at the same, and then I jump back to Quest, and everything I've played on the Quest this year, for the most part, has been very casual. I played through Yuki, I played through Sam and Max, I played through Sniper Elite, I played through. I'm trying to think what else, but none of these. Sniper Elite, I actually ended up playing on PC VR, just tested it on Quest. But, none of these are like deep, big titles. They're a lot more casual.
Right. That makes sense right now. But I still believe in the future, we're going to stream our games from the cloud. And then it is basically everything's going to be a PC VR, right? Everything's going to be PC VR.
I see it like, consoles back in the day. When I was younger, PC was up here, and what you could get out of PC if you had the money was up here compared to consoles, which were down here. And that gap has closed a lot over time. Software optimization helps a lot there. You have these developers working on a specific platform, so that does help for the Quest, but we see that a lot with the Switch specifically because that's super weak hardware. So that gap will eventually close. We will get close. It'll never be the same. You could always have cutting edge on the PC, but it'll get closer over time.
Right. Matteo, what are your thoughts about the PSVR 2? Is it something that you're looking forward to next year?
I'm definitely looking forward to it because PlayStation pumps out the best VR games. The worst hardware, the best games. Now up that hardware, and I'm excited.
The hardware, the first one, actually, it's at that time it was pretty incredible, pretty amazing, and I could still play a PSVR game without feeling like, wow, this looks like total shit. So I think they've made amazing hardware for that time, and I think they're going to make amazing hardware again.
Price-wise, and what they managed to get out of it was quite impressive. If you played Fract, which came out recently, it looks fantastic.
Yeah,
Fract
exactly,
looks
right?
Great.
The colors, man. The colors.
Yeah, and I'm checking to make sure I'm actually using my PlayStation VR.
Right.
It's
that's exactly how I felt too. Yeah. Well done. Right. Well, this OLED makes so much difference.
It's OLED. I was going to say, that's probably where that comes from. Because I've not played on a PSVR for a long time now.
The colors, man.
And I thought the PSVR was a great headset. I think it was let down by everything else around it. So the tracking, the forward-facing camera, and this kind of stuff, and the motion controllers is the thing that let it down, not the headset itself, honestly.
Agreed. Totally agreed. So I think PSVR 2 is going to be friggin' amazing, and we're going to have this kind of hopefully AAA titles. And I love that kind of new strategy that Sony said, okay, we want to have flat titles that have this VR option. So therefore, I hope that we're going to see lots of IPs, known IPs, that before we didn't have in VR, but now they're going to be in VR because of that new strategy, and I think it makes sense.
It's funny, Seb, because a while ago I said to you, I'll never get a PSVR.
You're going to get it. I told you that already.
Not quite, but something dawned on me the other day. No, something I realised today, well, PC VR is absolutely not dead for flight simulation, of course. I think that is absolutely exploding right now. But if I think about myself as a PC gamer, what options do I have? And I think the PSVR 2, which is coming out, might be the only way I could get my PC VR fix in the future if things are going down that road. I mean, I know we are going to... I just feel because, like you say, with their weight in the industry, they're going to be able to churn out some incredible VR titles. And, of course, I'm sure they've got them planned. But especially, I like the idea of having these amazing titles with that VR option. I'm thinking, my God, that's kind of annoying because that means, in the future, maybe I'll have to get that full fat PC VR immersion that I love with amazing graphics and it's not just about the graphics themselves, it's just how it makes you feel in the environment that makes the difference. It might have to be that route for me, which is a bit annoying. So you never know. In the future, I might end up having to buy one.
I think PlayStation 2 will deliver that experience. I think they're going to wow us. Software-wise, hardware is going to be good enough, and software-wise, they're going to wow us. And I think software is more important, especially at this point right now.
Yeah, and then if both comes together, if the hardware is good enough, and I'm sure it's going to be good enough, it's going to be...
We see the specs.
Right, exactly. So there's going to be a good combination, and they're going to bring something new to the game, probably some rumble in your head, which might be interesting, who knows? Yeah. So who knows? But I'm very much looking forward to it. But it's quite a long time, right? We have to wait one full year from now to get it, and until then we're going to have a Quest Pro or whatever it's going to be called, and so on and so forth. So let's see. Anyways, let's start to talk about more new hardware. So let's talk now about the Kickstarter, the Lynx R1 Kickstarter. For all of you who have not heard about this device yet, this is a new standalone VR and AR headset, which costs $499 on the Kickstarter right now. The campaign has been very successful. They have blasted through their goal of 300,000 euros in the first 15 hours, and I think now they're at 500,000 euros. And the device itself, again, it's a standalone headset. It has a resolution of 1,600 by 1,600 pixels per eye, just like the Vive Flow. But this one has full hand tracking built in. You can connect this to your PC, playing Steam VR titles and all kind of AR stuff. Well, I haven't seen it yet. We are going to see it next week. And Cass and Sherry have been there last weekend. We're going to hear from them as well, what they think about it. And so they have been very successful with their Kickstarter. Still, for us consumers, we don't yet really understand what we can do with it. So I believe it's more of an exciting hardware for tinkerers, for those who want to try out what AR could bring to the table, for programmers, for developers who simply want to have a device that can do all these things, this high quality pass-through and perfect hand tracking in a standalone form factor. So I would like to know about, Matteo, your opinion about this. You have also probably followed this. So yes. What do you think? What do you think about that?
So, I've spoken about the Lynx R1, and people come at me like, well, why are you comparing it to the Quest 2? And I'm like, well, they did it themselves.
Right.
They said, we're going consumer.
Which was a mistake, in my opinion.
Yeah.
They basically put themselves there and said, yeah, we're a Quest competitor. Yeah. And my response is, how?
No.
You're almost double the price. You don't come with controllers. You don't have a storefront that can compete with Facebook. What's your storefront? SideQuest? You don't have a storefront that can compete. Even if they're trying to go their own storefront route, which I think would not be good, HTC can't even do that. And HTC is a giant company because I know their focus is on enterprise, but if you look at their, what is it, the HTC, what is the other one? Their standalone.
Focus 3.
Focus, yeah. I just couldn't get the way. Flow kept coming to mind. So, their Focus 3, the storefront, is like non-existent. There's no like games in it or anything. So if they can't do it, I know it's enterprise focused.
It's enterprise, exactly. It's enterprise. So it makes sense that there's no games. So not many. Yeah. So anyways,
you have specs that are a little bit lower than the Quest. You're almost double the price. You don't come with controllers. You don't have a justifiable storefront. The only real big thing you have is you have the promise of AR. But AR, while I think there's tons of potential, like tons of untapped potential, it's still an unknown right now. So unless they come out with some killer AR apps, why do I as a consumer want this headset when I can get something just much cheaper with more functionality?
Mm-hmm. Right. What would you say to this, Gary?
To be honest, it's very difficult to argue against a lot of his points there. I think you're right, Sebastian, that this is for people that are interested in the hardware side. Exactly. I'm a consumer. Okay, now I'm interested in this and to see how it performs in that AR functionality. And actually, I'm very interested to see how it performs in the VR functionality and if it can just compete with Quest if it did have that store. You know what I'm saying? And the streaming from PC as well, how well that performs. Now I predict it will be very similar to the Quest because it's got the XR2 in this headset as well. I think there's a lot of valid points that Matteo has brought up
but it's sorry to disrupt you, Gary, but you know what? I honestly, it's not so easy to make this streaming VR happen. Even it has the same chip. There's so much software involved. It's so complicated. I've seen like the Focus 3 like completely fail at it. Really, like if I compare the Quest 2 against the Focus 3 for Steam VR streaming wirelessly, and I did this recently here for myself for fun, it's like unbelievable. It's so bad on the Focus 3. And it's so great on the Quest 2. It's unbelievable. So there's so much engineering involved in making that happen.
Yeah, well, that will be interesting to see how it performs and based on that. That will be interesting. Yeah. But the other thing I will say is that I've mentioned this before on the show, is I think that the by Lynx saying that they are competing directly with the Quest and the Quest 2, it was a mistake to do that. And I've mentioned before, I think they need to play into their strengths with this device, which is this VR AR hybrid. It's got this unique ability, which is going to be better. The pass-through is better. They've got this occlusion mesh included. It will be true AR. And I think these are points that they need to really highlight and differentiate themselves rather than trying to compare themselves to the Quest 2. They need to differentiate themselves and show what this has to offer. But the fundamental points, the fundamental problems are it needs content for consumers if it wants to compete on that level. And so, I think a lot of the points are valid and a lot of these things are still up in the air. So while I'm a big believer in this product, I think it's still at the early stages where it could go either way, honestly. But I'm very interested to try it out.
That's for sure. Steve, do you have any thoughts about the Lynx?
I'm really gutted I can't go and try it out next week with you guys because I think I can't really make any sound judgment until I try it. But as a AR newbie, I've never tried that before, and to have that color pass through, I think that is a really unique selling point.
It looks great. It looks really good.
That would be really cool to experience. But from a very selfish point of view, I'm concerned about that low. I like to call it low resolution, but it isn't as high. The screen isn't really crisp like the Quest 2, I'm guessing anyway. I mean, we don't know until we actually see it, because there's other things that, it's not just about the display itself, but obviously the lens design and the display itself, whether it's got any Mura, the colors, all these things play an important factor for me. But I think if you really loathe Facebook that much, then this is a interesting option.
but even if you loathe Facebook, like I don't loathe Facebook, by the way, right?
Or the way
even though it seems like it, but honestly speaking, I think it's simply not a Quest 2 competitor. It simply is not at all, like zero. And just like Matteo and Gary said, no, there's even no controllers there. So I totally agree with you guys. I don't think it was the right thing to say, okay, we're coming out as a Quest 2 competitor when they came out with that Kickstarter, right? And I also totally agree with what Gary said. They should play to their strength, this AR thing. So it might not be for us now, for us gamers, but it is still interesting as a competitor to something else, like the HoloLens. The HoloLens costs like $3,000, and it has like an FOV of like 45 or what. So this has a bigger FOV, right? And I think this is a better HoloLens 2. And it might be freaking amazing for that pass-through AR as compared to the AR where actually they try to optically put some virtual things into your viewpoint, right? So I think this is a really interesting way for now, for 2021, to have AR, and this might be a perfect AR headset. It has really good hand tracking with UltraLeap, and Gary mentioned today that UltraLeap is the best hand tracking that's out there, and they've shown it in a video, right? How good their hand tracking is. They have really absolutely brilliant color pass through what they've showed before. They have these interesting lenses. Well, I have to find out how good they are, but they have a great form factor. So as an AR pass-through device, this might be pretty amazing. And then I must also say, like, hey, the price point of $500 is actually really good for such a device with so much new technology in it, right? From a small startup company from France. Just about this is great, but this is not a great Quest competitor. So therefore, I believe it's not going to be interesting for many consumers, but more really for enterprise customers who want this to put on their own software. They already know what they want. Probably they already have a HoloLens app, and they can make a better one for this device, and it's going to be better than the HoloLens. So that, in terms of strategy, I think they have miscommunicated that when they came out with their Kickstarter. Also, I think it would have been better to have people like me or others try it before the Kickstarter had actually started, so for people to know what are they actually signing up for. But it's good now that we're going to test it out and see what it can do actually. Anyways, I still wish them all the best, of course, since I think it's great that there are more choices, right? We don't have so many companies that give us hardware to play with right now. Like, we're all hoping for Facebook to give us the next cool shit that we love, and we will for sure. But it's great. We don't have competition, and I still root for them. I still hope they are successful, and they have sold quite a few units. But I still hope that for probably the Lynx 2, it's a more clear fit where we know, okay, this could really compete probably against the Quest, or it could really be more like a HoloLens 2 competitor. Like, the strategy must be more clear, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But I don't want to like dismiss it as a consumer product. Okay, this first one.
Really? Okay.
Because I think there's fundamental things that are missing at this stage or not clear at this stage, and that is the app delivery system and the store. And these are the things that need answers, because I think it can be a consumer device, especially when compared to something we're going to talk about in a second, which is the same price, but this has more functionality.
You're right. Right. It has more functionality than the Flow, probably.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're probably going to deliver a really good AR experience. But even if their technology is great, it still comes down to the applications. It doesn't matter how good their implementation is if there's nothing to do with AR. You know, that's the unknown. That's the big unknown right now.
Right.
So hopefully we get more answers. Well, you guys will get more answers, hopefully.
Right. Yeah.
Is there actually no controllers going to be ready at launch then? Is that the...
You can back them for 99 euros, and it's not going to be like controllers that are made for the device. It's those Finch controllers. It's another company that makes controllers. I don't know how good it will be. I'm not sure if we can try it out. But honestly, I honestly cannot see people using that for Steam VR. No, really. I mean, I
agree.
I have the Steam. Right. I have the Quest 2 here now. And the Steam VR streaming is freaking perfect.
It is.
Yeah.
No, really. It's really so good now. And even got better with that version 33, right? With that, it even looks better now. It's like I'm like shocked at how good it is now. Like,
it's fantastic.
Like, come on, like even I admit it. Like
it's
how good that is.
It's not far away from the G2 resolution now. Actually,
it's really good now.
Sharpness.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm in the same boat as you, Sebastian. Everyone thinks I'm anti-Facebook. I just like to call things as it is. Like, I'll say plenty of negative things and plenty of positive things too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I get hate from both sides. You know, people are mad that I said something nice and that I said.
No one will ever be happy on YouTube.
But
right. Yeah, we have to live with that, Matteo. But it's good that we have both sides, right? We say both things, right? Really, like it's really an amazing piece of hardware. It's even getting better, like every update.
The AirLink is solid. I mean, I told you, my preference is the Index. I use it 85 to 90% of the time. But, you know, on AirLink, yes, I can feel the latency. But visual-wise, they're pretty close these days.
Absolutely.
They're pretty freaking close.
Absolutely. And gaming science teacher says something. You don't have to be totally against something to be critical of it. And I think that's right. Right? We're critical of some parts of this whole Facebook thing. But the hardware, my goodness, they have really nailed it.
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, Sebastian, I don't know if you know this, but with the Lynx, I think Stan mentioned, or he's mentioned in one of his live streams, or perhaps even when he came on our show, that he was talking about the controllers, they were going to have thumbsticks on. Now, the Finch controllers don't have thumbsticks on, is my understanding, but I'm pretty sure he mentioned thumbsticks at some point, unless that's changed, but we'll get some clarification on that anyway.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's mentioned
We're going to ask the hard questions.
Yeah.
When we're there and to check it out. Yeah, thumbsticks would be better. I really don't see any kind of controller right now not having thumbsticks and being successful. Right? I don't see that.
I hate the wands with a deep passion.
Yeah, same here.
They were great. Look, the launch of the Vive, I was like, these are fantastic.
In the very beginning,
you try
of course.
the Oculus Touch. And then,
yeah, exactly.
I never knew how bad. I was like, they can't be that bad until I got sent a Vive Pro 2 to review. and I was like, what are these things? What the hell? Oh, right, these are the Vive ones everyone keeps going on about. Right, okay. Yeah.
I didn't play like anything full locomotion because of the wands. And the second I got a thumbstick, you know, I was just like, it opened up a whole new like slew of games. No more teleporting nonsense.
Right, this is funny. Also, like the grip button was so hard to press on those wands. Can you remember? Like this little thing, like it's like you really have to do like something like this. It was like so complicated.
Force feedback or
Long
something.
gaming session.
Yeah,
You're stuck like this after gaming for a while.
Exactly. Yeah, but when it was the only thing available in the very beginning on the Vive, and there was no touch, it was freaking amazing, right? Yeah. Anyways, that was the Lynx, and now we're talking about the next topic, and this is going to be a pretty exciting one, and I'm looking forward to find out about your opinions. We're talking about Pimax. We haven't talked about Pimax for quite a while now, and now something new is going to come out. Probably they're going to announce some new headset. We're not sure yet, but they are teasing something, and it's going to happen on October 25th at 10 a.m. And well, they promise a sneak peek at next gen VR, a next gen VR product. And well, they say, or they introduce something that they say is going to be like several generations ahead of anything currently on the market. So not just next gen, no, it is like several generations ahead of anything on the market right now. So we haven't had a new headset from Pimax since a couple of months. I don't know. The 5K Super, which had like 180 hertz. I believe that was the last one that we heard of. And of course the 8KX. And the 8KX now has the new the headphones, the DMAX that you talked about, Steve. And let's talk about Pimax. So, Matteo, I don't know yet about your thoughts about Pimax in general. Tell me, what do you expect from this event? Do you think this is going to be a complete new headset that they're going to tell us about?
So, yes, I do think they'll be talking about a new headset. I mean, Pimax said something to me a while back, no details or anything, but led me to believe that was the case. I think they're taking a page out of HTC's book and over-promising and about to under-deliver. Okay. I mean, how do you make statements like that? You know, you're up against these giant companies that are pouring billions into VR, Facebook. Right. And then you have, Valve is up to something. And you're going to tell me they're going to come out with something generations ahead of them. I just don't see it. And what I've seen from Pimax already leads me to believe that they're just going to continue to do the same thing, like kind of drop support on what they have, or like, nonchalant support, and just start working on like 20 new things. It's like, their headsets have some really good aspects, but it's like, okay, a 5K, a 5K plus, a 5K super, an 8K, an 8K plus. And it's just like, you guys are all over the place. You have a new headset every 10 minutes. You're promising sword controllers. You're promising new headsets, new headphones. And I just wish they would kind of, bring it in, be like, hey, here's our low end product, here's our high end product. That's what we're doing, and nail it. And
totally agreed.
They push for too much, and they don't deliver on like any of the aspects.
Right. I have the feeling whenever there's a new display out on the market, they get it, they put it in, and then boom, we have the new Pimax.
New headset.
Right? We have a new headset. Exactly, Matteo. Just like you said, why not concentrate on one thing, like the Pimax 8KX, for example? Let it be their flagship device, and then just concentrate on it. Like if they now talk about the next headset already, I don't know. It's always like this carrot dangling in front of the VR enthusiast. Yeah. And then we never reach it, right? We always like try to get the next big thing. Why not concentrate on the 8KX with a new the new audio solution, DMAS, right? Yeah. And then deliver that in a great fashion, right? And just concentrate on this, because I really think they did come a long way with their software, and also with the 8KX, right? Steve, like. You have it, right? And Matteo, you also have it. Like, I don't even have it.
Well, the thing is, though, you need to maybe let's just understand what Pimax headsets are really about. Well, particularly the 8KX behind me. It's a niche, like exotic, sports car, like an Italian sports car. It doesn't always work very well, but when it does, it's absolutely incredible. And that field of view, you cannot ignore it,
Yeah,
particularly
you're
for
right.
race
You're right.
simulations
You're
and
right.
flight simulations. It is a
Exactly.
niche product. I don't think it's really a gaming headset per se. I mean, I tried playing Half-Life Alyx with that, and the thing was moving around on my head crazy. I thought, oh yeah, actually, I can see why this is not very good in the gaming perspective. But sitting down, enjoying a race sim or flying, or I tried Elite Dangerous, by the way, as well with it, and oh my god, it's just absolutely incredible. And when it works, it's absolutely incredible. It really is superb. But I agree, they are all over the place. They are releasing. I was so confused. Like they were going to send me 3 different types of Pimax headsets, and I really was confused which one it was, because it was very similar, like the 8K and then it's a 5K Super, and I was like, well, yeah, I do agree with that. It's a very strange business model, if there is one at all. But I just feel they are passionate about VR. And
Absolutely. Totally.
they just need
Really.
kind of stop where they are and not get too carried away.
Just bring it in.
But that's what they do. Yeah, rein it in. Yeah, absolutely. I do agree with that. But they are don't compare a Pimax 8KX or something to a Quest 2. It's ridiculous. They're that's like comparing a Ford Fiesta do-it-all car to a Lamborghini, whatever. You know what I mean? It's an exotic piece of hardware that is for a specific type of niche, and for that it works superbly well.
It is definitely niche, without a doubt. It is for the people who like to tinker and play around.
Well, I do.
My approach was, okay, I'm gonna look at this headset compared to my daily driver, because you promised me this is the best of what VR has to offer. My daily driver is an Index, so I'm gonna look at it compared to that, and where do I stand at the end? And yes, there were instances where I had a much better field of view, and sometimes I loved it. Fidelity wise, I didn't think it was this massive increase, because the pixel density isn't much better compared to the Index and the AKX, because the panels are so much larger, because
the FOV, right.
That's surprising. I'm surprised you said that. I am.
So
I mean, the AKX isn't too far off the G2. So yeah, sorry, go on.
I look at it and sometimes I say, okay, this looks clearer, and sometimes I'm like, okay, it looks clearer, but this game's FPS is tanked, and I'm running a 3090. So it's like, okay, I got to go in and play with a couple settings, because the game just doesn't like this resolution. So then, or I rein in the FOV, and it's like, well, if I have to change the FOV and bring it in, what's the point? Or when I'm at like the highest FOV, I found that the edges just drive me nuts. I almost felt like the headset would wobble. It would it was very distracting for me. I was playing Hyper Dash, and I feel like, oh, it's an advantage. I could see people more, but it was taking a while for me to just stop noticing the edges. And some games it was more noticeable than others. That's definitely more noticeable, like the large route field of view you go, but that distortion was always there for me. And my brain kept saying, go back to the old stuff because you like it better. And I was like, well, let's play with this more. Let's find the right settings. And I felt like every game had to be dialed in to find settings that were ideal for that game. Now I know they're making that easier software wise. I felt like I didn't always get a better visual experience. Sometimes for sure. My audio experience was definitely not better, as you discussed already.
I definitely agree with that one.
Yeah. My microphone, they said, wow, we've never heard a Pimax microphone sound that bad. And I'm like, I don't know. I plugged it in.
But it can be worse than the HTC.
But it was very low and muffled. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you guys. I just plugged it in. I did a recording. I said a few sentences. Yeah.
I don't think it's that bad, really. I mean, it's not as good as the Quest 2. I think the Quest microphone is actually amazing. Again, considering that's the cheapest. But all of my videos on YouTube where I use the 8KX, I just use a standard microphone, and no one's ever said, "Oh, that sounds a bit crap."
They said that maybe they thought, since they said, oh, you have a prototype unit, maybe it didn't have our normal microphone. So it's possible. So I'm not going to say that the mic, but the audio wasn't as good. The mic, obviously, we'll just pretend that didn't happen. But at the end of the day, I said, okay, it's not always delivering a better experience. I had tons of software issues with it. I used it on multiple machines. It gave me a headache, a different headache on every machine I plugged it into. I told you before we were filming, I told you I had the bandwidth issue. Another machine made me do a clean driver install, which I was just like, but it's working now, fine. I have a headset plugged in. I was a little annoyed that it didn't have Bluetooth built in on a $1,200 headset because I let my base station shut off, and then the first thing that happened was I plugged in my 8KX and my base stations wouldn't turn on. I'm like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, I don't have Bluetooth connectivity anymore. So it couldn't send them the message to turn on. I mean, if you're paying $1,200, just put the $10 Bluetooth module in there for me, please. Like, and then, all that said and done, I said, okay, it doesn't always deliver a better experience for me. It gives me a headache frequently. I need to tweak with it constantly. And then the Valve Index is just so much more comfortable for me, better audio, and it's so much cheaper. We're talking about $1,000 for the kit versus $1,200 for just the headset. So
I think that the thing here with why we're disagreeing slightly is because we're very different VR. We consume VR differently, don't we? I think because you're not. I'm guessing you don't sim much. I'm checking your channel actually.
No, I rarely do sims, and I can see it being great for that.
Yeah,
I think that's probably what it is there. That kind of makes a lot of sense to me, I think. Because if I have never tried a Valve Index. That's one headset I would love to try.
Oh, you need to. It's so good. Yeah. It's still good. It's still great now.
And all I hear is great things about it.
Yes, it is.
If I was just a VR gamer, I would probably pick that over pretty much any other headset, including the G2, which will be very surprised by a lot of people who know my channel, because it makes total sense. It's got the whole package, hasn't it? So I do understand that. And that's why I say the
microphone is unbelievable. The microphone is like studio quality. I could use it for all my content, honestly speaking.
It sounds better than this, I swear.
Yeah, also, absolutely. Also a bit better than this. It's crazy.
The one issue I had when I tried the Pimax, and it was the 5K Plus that I tried a long time ago. And like Matteo has already mentioned, and people are mentioning in the chat as well, the distortion was just something I couldn't get past. I couldn't not see it. And whenever you turn your head, you've got this warping away of the extremities.
Yeah.
And it just kills the immersion. It's almost pointless me trying that headset if it's got this distortion. No matter what else it has around it, the benefits that it has around it, which I can understand, that distortion, as soon as I see that, and I think I must just be very sensitive to the distortion in VR headsets, because if I see that, it's almost, it just turns me off playing it in almost everything, honestly.
I totally get it. But I must say, when you change the FOV to normal, they have the large setting, and then you change it to normal, then it kind of cuts that away, and it's getting better. And they really have done a better job now. They've really improved their lens distortion profile. And on normal, I must say, it's pretty good now.
Yeah, well, I tried it on the small and the normal and the wide, but like I say, it was a long time ago when I tried it, and I know that they've made their distortion profiles better. So I just think that with a design that they have in their headset, you are never going to completely eliminate distortion in that style of headset, based on how they.
No, I don't hear you.
Pimax is cutting him off.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. They have hacked into Gary's setup. You're back.
I heard you.
We hear you now.
No, he's not. He's not back yet.
I know,
Hello
but
now.
yes.
Sorry, you are.
Yes. We hear you now. Wow.
I'm sure you've got some poltergeist activity going on in there, Gary. Like the other night.
Check.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you now. Yes,
Still can't hear you.
Still there.
Okay, we hear you. Yeah, okay. Then I will just keep on talking. So
this never happened before.
But I must also say that really they did come a long way. They have now the Pimax experience, which kind of dials in the games.
I'll try to get it back.
Yes. So they have the Pimax experience where they dial in your games for you, like some profiles, some cloud profiles. Then they have done something on the lens distortion. Now they have the headphones. The head strap is comfortable, I would say. So actually, from the very beginning until now, they did come a long way, and I really think that there is a market for this kind of high-end wide FOV. It's just like, right?
I definitely agree with you. They definitely came a long way. They definitely offer something that no one else has. It's just not ideal for most people.
Yeah.
That's.
Yeah. Right. And I believe they could play a big market in that enthusiast market if they wouldn't, I don't know, do something like probably they're going to do now. Tell us about the next big thing, which is, again, the dangling carrot in front of us.
Yeah.
Instead of like doubling down on the 8KX and like probably making it cheaper, making it more perfect, and simply putting all their effort into this one headset or two. Like I really like the Pimax Artisan, for example. It's a cheaper headset, which is really good, right? Why not just these two, 8KX for the high end and Artisan for the beginners, right? And that's it. They would probably sell lots of them.
We need a crazy VR developer like Pimax in the VR space.
Yeah, I like it. I really,
totally need
honestly, I like
maybe
them.
they'll get things wrong sometimes, but I do feel that, like I said before, when it does work, there's no better experience out there than flying with a 170 degrees field of view with no distortions. I don't actually get any, so that's really strange. But I totally understand a lot of that software dependent, and getting it set up on your computer is very important because the Pi tool has a Pi. Pi experience or whatever it's called, I can't remember now, and literally you can change everything on it, the offset, the IPD, which is a really cool thing. I'd recommend everyone at least mess around with that, but like you say, Matteo, you got to go in and tweak it, spend maybe a week or so once you get it tweaking it. For me, that's fun, but maybe I'm weird, and a lot of people don't like that. But,
I mean, if you consume a lot of content, it's so far
that's
from
a nightmare.
ideal.
Yeah, I totally get that.
And I consume a ton of different content, and it, like you said, it was a nightmare. And I was trying to dial it in, and there were some experiences that I was really impressed. Like, I played what's called Space Pirate Trainer, which is one of my favorite classic games, and I actually found the wide FOV to be a huge advantage because you never lost track of the enemies. And I actually thought the black levels looked better than my index, and it looked clearer in that game. So yeah, it was a better experience mostly in that game, but at what expense?
I was going to ask you, Steve, if you can still hear me now.
We hear you.
Yeah, that's good. But yeah, so you just said there you don't get any distortion at all on the edges.
No, when I first tried it out, actually my first impression video of that exact headset, they didn't send me another one or anything like that. I said, distortions, don't like it. Literally the first few minutes I actually saw them, but when I dialed in the software, made sure that it was on my face properly as well, and just making sure that your frame rate is a really decent number, because that headset tanks any computer, even my 3090. You've just got to be realistic with settings, then you can actually dial it in really well. And even if and this is what I do, and this sounds crazy, but I don't that often use the completely wide field of view. I rein it into about normal. And I know you think, well, what's the point? But there's every point, because even in normal
it's still
mode,
bigger. Yeah,
it's still bigger than any other headset out there.
Right.
I was going to say, I'm wondering, because like I say, it was a long time ago when I tried it, so I'm wondering if the software itself has got better. And like you were saying,
really, yes,
I do.
It is really good. It's really good
now.
now.
Try one again. Yeah, I'm
right.
tempted to try one.
Okay, Steve, you're good again now. Like Pimax is still going to support.
Actually, I've got the saw controllers here, by the way. I haven't tried them yet. Haven't had no time because of the other secret stuff. But I literally have some Pimax saw controllers over there, and I really can't wait to try them out. But they're prototypes, so I guess we'll see what they're like.
Right. Yeah. So, dear Pimax, I would really also like to test your software, and I think it doesn't make sense. I don't know what is the fallout, like why I don't get the hardware anymore, because I always reviewed it fairly, and probably that's the problem. I don't know. I would absolutely love to try that controller and also the 8KX. I don't have the.
I thought you had one, Seb.
I have the prototype. And then I said I don't like it, and since then I don't get any hardware anymore. Okay.
Once you get the PSVR, we'll swap, and we'll just.
right.
Somebody put Paolo Triani said Sweevive. Somebody's put where is Sweevive? Yeah, Stony VR.
He's somewhere triggered right now.
He's hacking you, Gary, after what you said.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because I've messaged Sweevive, because he used to come into VR Round Table now and again as well and comment and stuff. But yeah, I've not heard from him for a long time.
Actually, I really enjoyed your podcast, by the way, Gary. I've just got to say, while I remember the Round Table. I really enjoyed that discussion. It was fantastic.
Thank you.
Right.
I really enjoyed it too.
Yeah, so, Dear Pimax, I know you're watching this, and I'm telling you, I would love to review fairly, as always, your hardware. So, yeah, but I don't have the chance because you're sending it all now to Steve.
I'm right. That's it. Stay here.
But that's okay. That's all right. That's all right.
My relationship with
Sorry,
Yeah,
I was going to
but
say my relationship with Pimax isn't great either at the moment. You know, I didn't give them a stellar. Well, I didn't really review the unit. I kind of compared it to my Quest. That was like my angle of my video. You know, like which one's better? Because a lot of people say what's the best possible headset. And my relationship's a little tentative after that. But they did use me in one of their promotional videos.
Oh, really?
Cut out,
what?
Whenever I said something positive, they cut it out and used it in. And I was like, that gets,
interesting.
Like people were messaging me like, oh, I didn't know you were a Pimax ambassador now. And I'm like, yeah, you should see that whole video.
Oh, I need to see that. It's so funny, man.
I've not even got a relationship with Pimax. I can't get them to even acknowledge me.
I don't know.
Honestly, Gary, you should come around here and check it out, or I'll go there. We're not that far away.
No, we're not.
I honestly, I think you'll be blown away. You love Elite Dangerous, and space sims in general. That thing there is unbelievable. Honestly, it's just incredible in sims like that. We'll love
have
it.
To sort it out sometime because I'm definitely willing to give it a go again at Pimax. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, me too. By the way,
it's honestly it's so strange going from that to the G2 afterwards. It's like looking through a pair of toilet rolls. It's like, oh my god, am I actually dealing with this? And then you're okay again after a while, but it is quite a shock.
Right. Thank you so much, Forsec Shark Mister, for €2. Cheers.
Cheers. Uwe, in fact, actually, he's in Germany somewhere. I'm not quite sure whereabouts, but he's a great support of the channel. Good to see you here, mate.
Perfect. Yeah, so Pimax Frontier. So I would like to ask Gary, what do you think are they going to show? Is it going to be the same case with just another display in it again, or do you think it's something completely new?
Well, it feels, based on what they're saying in this announcement, it feels like it's got to be something new based on a completely different design, I would imagine. But it's difficult to say with Pimax, isn't it? And I just wanted to reiterate that I agree with all of you guys that they're expanding this kind of stuff too much and they need to rein it in. And perhaps this is the new direction that will set off that new precedent for them, where they will just have this new launch. These are our product lineups now, and we can get back to basics and start doing it this way. I think it's got to be significant based on how they are promoting this kind of announcement. I would say it's got to be something, and especially that we laughed at the beginning with that statement that it's several generations ahead of everything else. I mean, it's a ridiculous thing to say, but yeah. I mean, I'm ready to be impressed.
Yeah, me too. I love to hear new things. Matteo, what do you think is this thing?
I mean, I think they're going to announce a new headset because they always announce a new headset.
You're right.
The generations ahead stuff is ridiculous. I'm face palming over that. But, maybe they will do something impressive and new because they've already done something impressive and new.
Agreed.
You kind of expect them to do the same thing. Maybe they will be the first one to bring micro OLED, into VR. Maybe they will be the first to do that. I think, like we've all said it, they got to rein it in. Hopefully this will be the case. But also they got to stop spec chasing. 8K. Okay, well, it's actually 4K. But at the same time, they all go on about how, well, we're pushing the GPU's bandwidth to the max. And I actually had issues with that. I told you I have too much bandwidth going out to my monitors too. So I had issues with that. So VR doesn't need the highest resolution possible. I think the index is already a little bit more than the index is what we need to make sure we're getting rid of the screen door effect and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. As far as FOV, we don't need 180, but a little bit more than the index. So don't just chase the specs. Don't push it as high as possible. Find that sweet spot. That's what they need to do.
Yeah, but that's playing it safe. That's not them.
No, but I agree with
pushing the boundaries.
I really agree with Matteo here because the Pimax Artisan, it doesn't have the super huge wide FOV. It has a bit less, more than the index, and that is enough. And that is already so good. I really enjoy the Pimax Artisan still. So yeah, why not double down on this kind of FOV, which is bigger than the Index, bigger than most of the other headsets already, and then simply give it better lenses, because the lenses are, honestly speaking, not great. Why not some aspheric lenses, something like Vario is doing? Because then there's no God rays anymore. You have this huge sweet spot, and things would simply look awesome. Like, they would get me with that already. So that would be amazing. What do you think, Steve, is going to happen on October 25th?
I don't think they're going to sort of, blatantly announce a new headset that this is what we're going to be doing next.
But that's what they've been doing most of the time. Blatantly announcing new headsets.
They might announce something in terms of sort of teasing or looking at the future, maybe some sort of metaverse idea, software-based idea, or some sort of technology that they're going to put into their headsets. But I don't know if they're going to actually announce a specific headset and say, this is what we're going to be doing, and this is when it's going to be released, pre-order, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure if they're going to be that. I don't know. I still think they've got work to do on the 8KX, and I've no idea if I'm supposed to say this or not, but I don't care anyway because they didn't tell me. But the 8KX, there's a slightly new version of it coming out anyway, which has a higher refresh rate and has a slightly better screen in it. It's still the same resolution. It's going to have DMAS audio at standard. So they are slowly evolving the 8KX. So at the moment, I can't. They're calling it VR.
That wouldn't be generations ahead.
No, I know. So what I mean is that I think they want to let people know what they're doing, what they're up to, but I don't think they're going to actually announce anything, really concrete in terms of an actual product, like a headset that's going to be released in the near future. I might be completely wrong, and that's fine. But that's what my guess is anyway.
At the same time, a minor upgrade to the 8KX, isn't that a spit in the face? The 8KX, plus super, whatever. Isn't that a minor spit in the face to the people who supported it? Kickstarter, paid $1,200, whatever the case may be. It's like, well, focus on what we have, or don't make products that you're gonna improve and give us the next best thing every year.
Yeah, I agree.
But like you said, maybe that's the market. They're a very niche, always dangling the carrot type of scenario, and if it works for them, fine.
I think you got to learn to hate Pimax, to be honest, because without them,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
we have reached that stage already, like a long time ago.
When we think about Pimax, we have emotions, and I think that in itself is how they've succeeded. Because
I guess you're right on that one.
Yeah. But they sometimes do give us amazing things, like this wide FOV that no one else can give us. So I still root for them. Really, I still hope that they will be successful.
Too.
Really, I really want them to be a part of this ecosystem where they deliver awesome things that nobody else gives us. So yeah, why not? Yeah. Anyways.
They're listening now. I think they've got that one. So.
Okay. Sebastian is back on the list. Okay, let's send him this 8KX now.
Yeah, and again, maybe my direction is just not right at all for the company. Maybe it's great for VR, but it's not right for the company. Maybe that's their whole thing, and their whole shtick is we're just always pushing boundaries. No one else has a 240 hertz screen in VR. No one has 180 FOV. We're always pushing boundaries. That's us, and maybe. That's enough. That's the market they want, and that's enough, and they'll just keep doing that. And my suggestion is pointless because it's not the direction they want to go in.
Could be.
It's kind of like 0 to 60 times in new sports cars. It's that's kind of Pimax. If they were an Italian company, I would totally understand that. I think they are crazy, but I love them, and it's a love-hate relationship with a lot of people. I think, and I totally get that. But it is niche. I would never buy a Pimax 8KX if I was just a casual or even a hardcore, I guess if you call it that, VR gamer as such. My point of view is quite a niche point of view anyway. But from a flying perspective, racing perspective, at the moment, there's nothing better out there. It just isn't.
Okay, yeah. Great. Steve is still on the list of Pimax people.
My microphone's still working, so
I know. Perfect. Yeah, anyways, I wish Pimax still all the best of luck, even though I was cut off of that list, and I really root for them, and I hope that they're doing the right thing, and hopefully not over-promising something that's down the line of 1 or 2 years, and we have to hope for it. Just concentrate on the stuff that you have, I would say, and give it to the people who want it, and then we're already good, I believe. Yep, Pimax. I'm looking forward to the 25th of October and find out what they have. Now we have the last topic, and it's the Vive Flow, and I believe it's going to be a very exciting topic. Before we get into that, we had those leaks, right? The Evan Blass EV leaks. He leaked those pictures of the Vive Flow like 1 day earlier or so, and then we had what I believe was some kind of reaction from Facebook, and Facebook XXT's the next generation. Well, everyone is about the next generation right now. Headset prototypes following the Vive Flow leak, and what we see here is Mark Zuckerberg with a Retina display headset, how he called it, and Boss Tank with a headset that has a strikingly nice form factor, which is smaller than what we see with the Quest 2 and more like something like the Vive Flow. So that is pretty interesting. And what do you guys think? Gary, I would like to ask you first. Do you think that this indeed was a reaction to all these leaks of HTC and all those events coming up from Vario and Pimax and especially HTC?
Yeah, I just want to know why they're bothering showing the next generation of products when really we should be looking at the next several generations with Pimax. They're going several generations ahead. So I don't know why
you're right.
Time with this. But I mean, it's got to be a reaction. The thing is, I don't expect we'll see anything that they're showing here in like Facebook Connect or anything like that. I think these are just they're just demonstrating that they are still on the cutting edge of all of this stuff. And I think part of it, the one that Boz is wearing, is very similar in terms of form factor to what to the Vive Flow.
Right.
You know, I think they're just trying to keep their hand in and make sure people are still talking about them in this month when there are so many different announcements. So it makes sense from that point of view. I personally don't read too much into this in terms of what they're going to reveal at Facebook Connect. But, you know, who knows?
Yeah, right. But if this is a reaction, it does mean that probably Facebook does feel a bit threatened, at least, so that they have to react upon like the Vive Flow or whatever Vario is going to show us. What are your thoughts about this, Matteo?
Well, I think the scenario like that transpired on Twitter was kind of petty. Like at first it was kind of like, I guess we'll say a little cute. Like it looks like everyone's trying to steal Facebook's thunder right now. Like everyone has an event coming out before Facebook Connect. So I can understand like Facebook would be like, all right, enough of this. And then it was interesting when you see the product, like it's definitely interesting. So for Facebook to have a reaction, yeah, I think, you know, at first glance, they were kind of like, oh, yes, let's keep the attention on us. And then the back and forth between them was a little petty, you know.
Agree.
Between and Boz. So I was kind of like, at first was like, that's funny, they're talking. And then I'm like, yeah, just guys, you know, kind of, you run your company, be bosses right now. Like, you know. I get it. You know, we're in gaming industry, tech companies. We're not, you know, suit and tie type people. But at the same time, I think it looked a little weird, got a little petty. But are we gonna start talking about the flow, because that's a disaster, in my opinion.
Wow, that's going to be interesting. We'll talk about this in a moment. Just want to hear also like Steve's opinion about those headsets that we're seeing here right now from Zuckerberg.
I just think it's absolutely brilliant how we're in a war state. The fight is on. This is what it's all about. I want them to have petty arguments with each other. I want them to, you know, do this kind of. They probably want to. Of course, this is a knee-jerk reaction, not just to Pimax, but to Vario's announcement soon. The VR industry at the moment is literally all over the place, and you know, I think it's great. This is what we need. We need manufacturers fighting with each other, and if Facebook feel even remotely threatened by this, then that makes me feel very warm inside. And I love my Quest 2. Of course, I'm not a massive. I don't have massive issues with the Facebook login. I understand why people do, but. Having said that, I do feel that Facebook definitely do feel threatened by this, and it's great to see this fight, not fighting talk, but you know, just this pettiness. I want to see more of it. It's great. That's what it's all about. You know, let's see competition, and if this if we can get it so that all these announcements come at the same time and they're trying to do one over on each other. Great, I love it.
Right. Yeah, I also agree with that. So actually, I also think it's a reaction. They just want to show, okay, it's not just the Quest 2. We have something up our sleeves, which is pretty amazing. And yeah, here, Mark Zuckerberg showing off this Retina display. I believe that is targeted at Vario in their announcement. And here, whatever Boss Tank is showing here, definitely that's for the Flow, right? So they do have something up their sleeves. And it's not just about the Quest 2. And it's good that there are some other things on the market that are going to come out soon. And we're going to have a very exciting October. So now it's finally time to talk about the Vive Flow. And I'm really looking forward to find out what are your thoughts about it, really? Because this device, it seems to have, the emotions flowing. That's what I would say. So let me just summarize whatever we learned. So this is the Vive Flow. It is a $499 standalone headset that is not targeted at gamers. So this is not a direct competition against the Quest 2. This is more meant to find new target audiences, probably working individuals, professionals, that after they come home after a long day of work, they're going to put this on and enjoy some meditative apps that are going to relax them, some casual games, and probably these people could play a movie. They could watch a movie on a big screen, on a big virtual screen. It has a very nice form factor, so it's definitely smaller than any other VR headset that they have launched or any other company. This is smaller than the Quest 2. It's only 189 grams, which is way better than the 500 grams of the Quest 2, and it's more like glasses. Now, they use pancake lenses, clear pancake lenses, so no Fresnel lenses anymore. They have a diopter adjustment. So that is pretty cool, really. That's really not bad, I think. So instead of having to wear your glasses within VR glasses, you can simply adjust the diopter, and then you're good to go. In terms of Qualcomm XR1. I'm not sure. They didn't actually say it's a Qualcomm XR1 which is in there, but there are some people who believe this is actually the XR1, so probably this is more powerful than the Quest 1, but not as powerful as the Quest 2. Also, let me tell you about the content that you're going to play on the Vive Flow. So there's two type of content that you can get. First of all, if you have an Android device, you can stream your screen via Miracast onto this. Also, your phone is being used as a controller. So in VR, you will see a phone floating, and then like a laser pointer, on the Gear VR or on the Go, you have this 3DOF controller where you can point at things and probably also have some casual games. So, but first of all, the main content is on your phone, so you can stream your Netflix, you can watch your Disney Plus or whatever, YouTube or whatever you have on your phone. The other type of content is the Viveport store, and for $5.99, you can get the Viveport Infinity subscription, and you can enjoy 100 games or apps, meditative stuff, some casual games, and so on and so forth. This all is not targeted at us gamers, but again, more like a new kind of target audience, professionals that probably want to wind down after a long day of work. Yes, so that are basically that's
nice introduction.
Yeah, that's basically what HTC told me when they briefed me one day before that thing launched. But now I want to hear what you guys think about it. And again, let me start with Matteo. What are your thoughts about it?
I have a lot of thoughts here. I mean,
come on, tell us everything.
Yeah, so first off, HTC never fails to disappoint. I've learned that from time and time again. They hype things really high. They don't do a good job at marketing because they kind of lead you to believe one thing, and then the product drops and you're like, well, crap. So I've been disappointed by them too many times. I was a huge HTC supporter from the beginning.
Like most of us.
Vive.
Yeah.
I had a Vive. I had a Vive Pro. I was a Viveport member for years. But they've just disappointed me so many times, and they won't talk to me ever since I did coverage on the Cosmos. I'm dead to them. I don't exist. I can't get a response from anyone. So that's fine. Again, I went to purchase my Vive Pro too, and I would have had one, but they screwed up the order. They took my money and never processed the order.
Oh no.
And when I found that out, I was just like, you guys are dead to me. And they're like, well,
Okay.
you didn't put it. I'm like, here's the receipt. You took the money out of my PayPal account. They're like, oh no, your order never went through. I'm like, you took the money. So I've had enough of them at this point. But putting all that aside, we thought they would be like the first company to actually, use micro OLED. That was like one of the things that people were saying when we started to see more of this. And maybe that would have made a difference, maybe not. But at the same time, we discussed a little bit of this before we started streaming. This is not for the Western market. This is not going to appeal. And at the same time, you're looking at a product that's $500 with less functionality than, even the Lynx R1 that we already discussed, or the Quest 2. Now, you can make the argument it's not to be used in that same manner, and you're right. This is this go home and zen out type of thing, but I don't think the average, housewife here or, businessman's going to come home from work and want to put these on and watch Netflix. What's wrong with your TV or a meditative app? I don't see it. There is definitely a cultural difference. There are people in other countries who are more accepting of things, or things are just much more normal. So there might be this might be very useful in the Asian market. People might be into this, very interested in it, and it'll be fine. But for people here, VR is more gaming centric. We look at this, and the only thing I see is, okay, cool, you delivered a cool form factor. I think the lens option is really cool. We'll probably see that in future headsets at some point. But $500 price tag, old VR hardware, less functionality than I can get out of a lot of other products. It doesn't make sense to me.
Okay. Gary, what are your thoughts about it? Would you agree with Matteo?
I agree with a lot of what Matteo has said. I think that there is space, however, for a device like this in the entire VR ecosystem. Now, this might not be that product, and this might be too early for a product like this to exist. The price is basically it's too high, and we understand HTC can't subsidize in the way that Facebook can, so their prices are always going to be higher. However, it just simply comes down to how much people are going to be prepared to pay for a device like this. And while I think there's space for a device to exist in this, what this device is doing, the small form factor, the comfort, the glasses kind of form factor where you don't have a strap, I think that does have value, but it needs to be cheaper. It needs to be a product that's cheaper. Or, and here's the alternate to that, I see this lifestyle kind of headset being Apple's approach. Okay, now, what I believe is that Apple's first headset will be far closer to what we're seeing with the Vive Flow than we are to the Quest 2.
Yes.
That makes more sense to me because Apple are a lifestyle company, and that to me makes far more sense. Now, with that, Apple will not charge a pittance for this kind of thing as well. Fortunately, Apple are in a unique position. They have a brand recognition which is there are no equals to that in the world, really, with Apple. And in the West, they could dominate something like that, this kind of product. They've got loyalty, they've got brand loyalty, and they have an ecosystem based around watches and phones and things like this. So to me, this kind of lifestyle device can exist. HTC are probably not the ones to bring it to us first. That's the issue, and the price is just too high. So really, I mean, I think it's difficult to see how this can be a success over here. And I take Matteo's points, honestly. I think that if you go to China or something, there might be more cultural acceptance of a device like this. I don't know, but that's something worth considering as well.
But you know what, Gary? I think you made a fantastic point there with Apple. In my opinion, if Apple would market this device with the way Apple markets things, we would all be shouting like, oh my goodness, how can it be only 550 euros? Give it to me. I'm going to take my money, shut up and take my money. We would be like this because Apple would make it like that we desire it. You know, Apple would make it somehow like, okay, my goodness, this is amazing. What? I can watch all these movies, all my phone content on a huge screen. This is incredible. And I would also say that Apple wouldn't have this kind of marketing approach that HTC now had. Like, okay, this lady which told us about how great it would be to meditate in this. It doesn't make sense. Like, I think, yes, it might be good for this, but it's not something where we all say, or normal people would say, like, wow, I need this, right?
Yeah.
So I think Apple would have a different approach to it, and they would make this device, like, desirable with way better marketing. Like, I watched the marketing, and I was just thinking, like, oh, no. Dear HTC, probably you have a great device. I don't know. I haven't tried it. Probably the 1600 by 1600 with this kind of lenses probably looks good. Probably it's really nice to watch movies on this, right? It's just like, again, the way that HTC markets it, just like Matteo said, is not appealing to me as a Western guy, right?
That's why I mentioned cultural, because if you watch that event, it almost came off cringy. It's like, I'm not buying that. I'm not buying this as in I'm not spending my money. Like, I'm not believing what I'm watching right now. Like, you know, I'm not believing this. So it doesn't appeal. And again, price, I think, is the biggest thing. You're right on with Apple. Apple could have probably sold this and we would have bought it.
Yeah, we would have. Yeah. It's at 800, we would have bought it then.
If it was, 150, 200, I would consider it.
Okay.
But like, you even say like, I don't leave my house very often. I got a nice screen here, a projector you could see behind me. Like, I have the higher end technology that I prefer rather than putting a semi-low resolution screen attached to my face, which is, even though it's a light form factor, it might not be very comfortable. So I don't know if it's, it for that much money, I'm never going to use it. That's what it just comes down to.
Okay. Steve, what are your thoughts? Is it a device that would appeal to you? I mean, we got the same briefing.
Yes. Well, to be honest, I think we need to be a little bit more open-minded about this technology here, if you can call it. It's not new technology. Of course it isn't. It's not sexy technology in the sense that it's not really exciting, but it's a new genre of VR. And I think we need to be a little bit more understanding. And this is not for us. This is not for any of us here on this podcast. This is for someone who's probably never tried VR before. This is for a different type of audience, and that form factor, it excites me the most out of the whole. Wow, there's there's more than probably two or three things.
Yeah, totally.
The first thing I want to say is the field of view. They've managed to get 100 degrees. Now I'm actually interested to check that out. But 100 degrees in a form factor that, I want to call it like normal glasses, of course, they're not like the Ray-Bans, but they are incredibly, they look so light. I think it's 189 grams, I remember, or something like that. So you're talking of over half the weight of a Quest. Yeah, like say, in the Quest is an uncomfortable headset, okay? And I need to spend tons of money on it to get it to a point where I can even use it for, say, I can be in it for a couple of hours, that's fine now, but that's because I've put all sorts of new things on it and everything. But this thing is like nowhere near the sort of size of a Quest, okay? And I shouldn't even use. The point is that I shouldn't even be comparing it to a Quest. It's not that type of thing. It is not a gaming headset. It's not for, especially not for me, for high-end VR. Although I did ask them a few questions, okay? I did ask them, is there a possibility of cloud streaming? And they are looking into that. He said categorically that they are looking into doing that. And some kind of Airlink capability. Now, I can't imagine it's going to be anything like the Quest. Nothing is. But they are thinking about that. But consider this like a DK2 or something, or a DK1. Like, this is something that I don't want to buy now.
It's a new product category. I also agree.
But the second or third version of it, I might be actually interested in this as it goes along, because there's nothing. What else? There's nothing else there like that. And another thing I like, as an Android guy, okay, I'm not an Apple guy at all. I don't have an iPhone. I don't want to be stuck within that kind of like I know you guys like iPhones, and well, I know you have one.
I don't have one,
anyway.
but I will
I thought
at one point get one. No, I don't have.
But the thing is, like, this will work, okay, not just with the top end HTC phone. Do HTC make phones these days?
No, I'm not sure. No.
I don't think they do. But whatever, this will work with a mid-range phone. Okay, so I'm not saying that this is the best thing ever. Okay, I'm not saying that. But what I'm trying to get my point across is that this is a new genre of VR that could appeal to a different type of audience that we can't think of because we're too much into the VR thing.
I totally agree with you.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I agree as well. Go ahead, Sebastian.
Yeah, and I also want to say, we as a VR community, I don't think we should absolutely just dismiss it because of the bad marketing and stuff. Because that's really bad. But honestly, I can really see myself use that. Like, for example, when I'm on a business trip, I'd rather bring this to watch movies in a train or on a plane than the Quest 2. Really, honestly, I really think this is actually pretty useful for me for these kind of like, when I'm on the go and when I still want to bring VR. And I simply want to watch movies on it, like that are on my phone. Or another like use case that I could see myself in this is also compatible with the software in order to meet other people, like Vive Sync or Engage. And I really see this is really not bad as a business device, actually. So rather than buying the Focus 3, which is kind of bulky for 1,400 euros, and I also bought that, unfortunately. I'd rather get this here for like 500 euros as a company, and give this to my employees and say, okay, when we're out and about, we can still meet in VR in this virtual meeting room, and we can do Vive Sync, we can do Engage, and whatever they bring to it. So I don't see this angle with the meditation, but I still think
that's a bit weird. I agree with that.
I really think this could be a really good device for these kind of business applications, and it's pretty useful actually. So I am not going to dismiss it, and I will try it out and find out what it's good for. But again, yes, I agree with you guys. Like the marketing for us Westerners, it's strange because we are used to this perfect American shows. I really enjoy watching the Apple show. I'm looking forward to it. In 2 days, right? Apple has this MacBook Pro event. Oh my God. I just love how they make me want to consume. Like, come on, we're all living in this capitalist world, right? And UK, Germany, US, perfect. We're all the same. And they are just celebrating this. They just make things that we desire. And unfortunately, in this case, like how they made this whole event is not desirable. I mean, this chair lady from HTC, she's super capable and she knows stuff and she's amazing. But like letting her speak for 5 minutes is just not as appealing as having this amazing show that Apple puts on, right? And this is really a big problem that HTC has. And, I really applaud them for it to give us new hardware. We are VR enthusiasts, and probably this device, it could be more interesting for people like our parents to simply put it on. But I also still think when Apple comes out with something, it is just going to be so polished. Like right now, why can't we use this also with our computers? Right now, it's only the phone, and that's okay, right? But honestly speaking, I really see that kind of factor for really doing some productive work with this kind of form factor. Yesterday, I was at home, and out of the office, I still needed to write a review, and my wife was watching TV, but I still needed to work. So I put on my Quest 2 with the virtual desktop, and I typed that review in VR. And I was totally in a different place. And it was amazing. And I just imagine myself doing this with the Vive Flow, but I cannot because it is not compatible with my laptop. So I still think it could be great, but the polish that Apple will give us with their device next year, it's not here. What do you think about it?
It is a prototype, this, really, isn't it? Let's be honest.
It feels a bit rushed, right?
But yeah, I think so. And maybe even in the Facebook Connect event, we might see something from them that might be a little bit more similar in design. But I'm guessing, who knows? But I do think this is still exciting to see what might happen next, because imagine a VR headset with that form factor. That would be pretty damn amazing. Oh, that proper VR headset, I don't consider this, in that sort of same vein.
Again, I really don't want to dismiss it. Like, I bought it with my own money because HTC doesn't send me a prototype, doesn't send it to me, which I totally don't get it. Why?
I'm gutted. I was going to go to London, and because they invited me to go to London to check it out.
Yeah.
But then I realised afterwards that they only gave you 5 minutes to try it out anyway. So I'm actually quite pleased it doesn't go in the end.
I was just thinking as well, like, because this is a completely different product category to what we are really interested in, really invested in.
Yeah, we
at the moment.
Agreed.
But I was just thinking as well, if you could take yourself out, imagine yourself out of this context.
Yes, exactly.
And you're or VR didn't exist in this way, and you walk into a store and you see this on the shelf, and it offers these kinds of features, these kinds of applications, possibly at a cheaper price, granted.
Right.
If you could get that, and then that really is the mindset of people that are not following VR at all.
Exactly. They don't know us.
A few years older than us. And are walking into this and seeing what this could potentially do. I think there's a space for this. I think that's my main takeaway. There is a space for this kind of device. Whether this is that or not, I can't say, but I think there is definitely a market for this.
And one more thought about this. I believe that telecom operators like O2 and T-Mobile and all these, Verizon, they will be pretty excited to sell this device together with a 5G contract because and probably subsidized, because for this device, they don't even have to make new VR apps. They don't need to make Netflix or for VR or whatever kind of content they have. They can just sell this device, probably a bit subsidized, and tell people, you know what, here's your reason for a 5G contract with a new phone. And you know what? You can watch Netflix or whatever content they offer with their 5G contract. You can watch this on a huge screen with this beautiful device and wherever you are. So I truly believe that HTC could have something on their hands that they can sell via operators, subsidized for probably $199, and then it's pretty amazing. And so far, I haven't heard that kind of that kind of thought in any kind of discussion. And I would simply like to introduce that thought. What do you guys think about that thought?
Oh man, if I actually want to get a new phone in the next maybe 6 months or so, and if I could get some bundle deal with this, I would totally go for that.
Right?
I really would. Yeah, I would. Yeah. But it is too expensive, though. I totally agree.
It's subsidized.
It should be $299. Yeah,
but like subsidized by the telcos in order to sell their 5G contracts. Probably this can go down then to $199 or even less.
You need to talk to them about that.
Guys gave me a lot to think about here. Like I am, I can be very dismissive in the beginning. Yes, this is another category. Yes, we can point out a couple flaws. Like obviously the price, the marketing, doesn't appeal to us, and we don't really understand the marketing completely. At least I can't see like my mom or someone seeing those ads and being like, yeah, I want this. So the marketing's off, the price is off. But yes, it's a new category, and if you walked into a store and saw them on a shelf and said, "Ooh, what is this? You've never seen VR before." You put them on, you'd probably go, "Ooh, cool."
Yeah, probably
and that can be intriguing and open up a new market. It's just like get that price down, or do it like you said, sell it with a phone contract there. Then we have something.
Who knows? Yeah, probably this might work like this. We don't know the talks that they have with the telcos, but I really see this as a good option to sell those 5G contracts and to have some appealing hardware for people, that are not like us, like totally into the thing, right? And for them, it might be pretty exciting. But without a doubt, like HTC still has a lot of work to do, right? Hand tracking, they must introduce hand tracking. Yeah. What's with the iPhone users, right? So there's lots of things. It's still not there yet. It seems like they needed to rush this out before the Facebook event, right? So that they actually sell some before. So, let's see how it goes.
I do think it's interesting. Like they mentioned that it has no IPD adjustment because of the sweet spot, because of those pancake lenses. I can kind of understand that, but like with the Vario, with those aspheric lenses, you still need an IPD adjustment. Yeah. So I'm not quite sure about that one, but I do really like the adjustable diopters. That is
really cool. That is really
cool. Be a first, actually.
Yeah, so let's try this out first before we completely dismiss it. Yeah, really, I really want to give them a chance. Also, since, we are in this market where there's like one company dominating so much, and I would root for HTC as well. And I wish they would do better marketing and not do this kind of obvious mistakes, right? I mean, for us, it's so obvious, right, that the marketing is off. But right, so
but they're not marketing to us.
No,
so that's why that makes it feel even more off.
Yeah, right. Anyways, let's see when we have some. I'm gonna get it on 2nd November again. HTC did not send me one. I bought it myself. So HTC, why don't you send it to people like me? I don't get this part. I really don't get it. So anyways, I bought it and I'm going to show you what it can do. And that's something that you can look forward to. Anyways, already 2 hours and 24 minutes. Wow, that was a long show already. Yeah, it was a long show, but we had lots of exciting topics. And I would like, again, say thank you so much to Matteo for joining us as a guest. You're welcome again. It was an amazing show. I love to hear your opinions.
Anytime.
And for all the people who enjoyed to have Matteo here on the show, please give it a thumbs up now to show us, yes, bring this guy up again, I think, and we're going to do it. It was such a good show. I loved it. So, perfect. And also, please subscribe to all of us, Matteo and Immersed Robot and VR Flight Sim Guy. And if you haven't done subscribe to me, also subscribe to MRTV. I think, we're all doing a great job, like pushing VR forwards. That's what we want to do because we are really, really excited about this topic. Yeah, and just doing it because we love that. So that would be pretty amazing. Also, if you have not yet reviewed the Next Dimension podcast, do that also now using your iPhone or iPad. Open the podcast app that's already on your device. Find us and give us a 5-star review if you enjoy the show. That's everything that we got. Any last words, Matteo or Gary or Steve? No? Yeah, that's it. Good. We're good. Perfect. Then let's end the show. Thank you so much for watching. Give it a thumbs up right now if you're live here with us right now. And if not, then leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about today's show. And we're looking forward to see you in the next episode. Until then, bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we're still live, Matteo. There's always the 1 or 2 minutes that we're still live now. And just to get a feel, what do you think about today's show?
Oh, it's good. It's a lot of fun. I love being on podcasts. I really enjoy it. It's super easy for me.
You're an opinionated man.
For sure. Oh, I definitely am. That gets me in trouble in life.
But that's the kind of people you need on podcasts.
Exactly. You need this. Yeah, that's perfect.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, but I don't socialize that much these days because I work from home. And then COVID's still around, so it's not as much going out, and I'm older, so it's like, this is how I socialize these days. That's it. So I've been on so many podcasts lately, and I just don't say no to any. I love it.
Yeah.
I've been listening to a few podcasts recently, actually, Matteo, and I've noticed you've been popping up on quite a few. You've been on quite a few lately.
Well,
I've been enjoying it.
I don't know, 2 weeks ago on Twitter, I was like, if anyone does a podcast, shoot me a message, I'll join.
Perfect.
And I'm like, I don't care if there's one person watching or 1,000. I really don't care. Let's just do this. I just love meeting people involved in VR and getting forming relationships, seeing their opinion, and getting different points of view. It's great. It's the best part.
Yeah. Totally agreed. It's so nice, and I totally agree with you what you said about socializing. I'm also not socializing so much, so it's so nice every week to talk about something that you're excited about with other people who are just as excited, right? So it's perfect.
Yeah, and I don't have people like this in real life.
Same here.
Exactly.
Zero.
Yeah. The same hobby. That's the whole reason behind me doing YouTube. It's kind of just to meet people and be more involved in VR.
Exactly.
I try to have a conversation like this, and they'll just look at me blankly. Yes. They're just not interested.
Especially at work, which I found the other day, which is a really bad idea. So don't do that.
Yeah. And then my wife, she's totally not into this. Super zero. Matteo, how about your wife?
My wife? I don't even know if she knows I'm on the internet. My wife works 60 plus hours a week.
Wow, that's crazy.
So
that's crazy.
Yeah, and I work 45 hours.
Okay.
Lately, it's been more because my office is a goddamn shit show. But, I mean, it's just we have very little time. and then we have young kids. So when we do have time, it's just, taking the kids somewhere. And yeah, so I mean, she's supportive, but I've never seen her like pop up on, my YouTube channel or anything like that. And maybe that's for the best.
My wife's the same actually. And in fact, my son told me the other day that my wife was, because my son, he's sort of into the YouTube space as well. And he said that he's shown my wife my channel because she's not interested in what I do on YouTube at all. Wow. And apparently she was just in hysterics watching my videos, just saying, "You don't talk like this. You don't talk like this."
Wow.
And my son was just having a real good laugh at me. So yeah, I've got that at the back of my mind now. Whenever I make a video, I know that my wife's gonna be laughing at me. So
funny thing. Yeah. So it's great to talk with people like you. Love it, enjoy it. Again, for all people, please do subscribe to Matteo, to Immersed Robot, to Gary, to Flight Sim Guy, Steve. It's great to have this community of people all respecting each other. That's amazing. All right, that's it for tonight. And we're looking forward to see you next week. Gary and me going to meet up in Paris. Probably we're going to go live from there. I think so. So Look forward to that show. I'm looking forward to this. And then we see us next week from Paris. Bye-bye.
Bye. Take care.